Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Scrims on stream. This is our second to last series of the regular season. I am still waiting to confirm 1T's roster because I believe it is incorrect at the moment. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's going to be Noam top, Jonah jungle, Nova mid, and Brewer dad bot lane, but they penciled in their starting roster. Snarkify is playing their standard roster though, so we'll get to see one more series from them on their main roster before we get into playoffs, which would be pretty exciting. This is their last series. It will not matter for standings for either team, so I'm expecting it to get a little exciting, but I know that both teams are definitely trying to win. More so 1T, I think, for bragging rights, because getting to take down the first place team would be fucking badass, and I know that they have some pretty motivated people on their team. But over on SR, they're looking to close out the season strong. They are playing Rift Sharks in the first round of playoffs. So that'll be a series to look forward to. I believe that's probably going to be Thursday. That's not confirmed yet. So we will get that info up no later than tomorrow. Metabusters versus PT is going to be the other matchup. Again, don't have time for that one either. But we should be getting into draft already. No, they actually need to resend draft links, it looks like. So I think we're still waiting a sec on that. We now have the new draft links. But yeah, should be good. I will kind of keep an eye on it and try and see. But the champions to watch are going to be Ornn, Lee Sin, Victor, Varus, and Renata. I think Akali is an honorable mention, as well as Yunar and Zeri we see banned a lot. But Vetus is 4-0 on the Varus. Looking over on the other side, Brewer is 5-1 on Lucian. Dad 6-2 on Zillion. I think both of those are very good bans. I think Noam actually has a really deep champion pool. Sejuani's pretty good, but he has a lot of other good picks. And Nova's pretty strong on a lot of champions as well. The Malzahar is his featured, but I believe he's a big Xerath and a Nivea player, so we'll see what the counter is to that. Looks like we are using a draft law link instead, actually. I'm not sure why that is. This is an old draft. Okay, it looks like Lisa and Victor, Akali banned out, Echo, Mel, and Syndra banned as well. It looks like that was the first pick Yunar, not super surprising. Normally banned away from Vetus. We'll get to see 1T look to counterpick it. I think Brewer Dad bot lane is going to be pretty strong. They banned out actually a lot of Brewer champions mid. We see the brand come through. That could be for Dad. I think we've seen him perform pretty well on it in their series against Rift Sharks, if I'm not mistaken. I thought we had to play into that. Not sure what's going to get picked for the rest of the team. I think Brand is a decent lane counter into Yunar, just getting a lot of burst, forcing her out of lane. It is going to be the Nami paired up with it, so that might be for Brewer in the bot lane, but we could see that go anywhere else. I think jungle and mid are both likely options as well. And Yuumi is going to be paired up with Yunar. I believe we've seen Lelouch play the Yuumi a little bit. but getting to see it again will be interesting. Sure what else they're going to pair up with it. Looks like it's going to be the Aurora coming through for Sandy. I think that's definitely one of those other champions that gets considered being banned against him a lot also. And it is just going to be countered with the Malzahar, it looks like. So I think that forces Brand to either be ADC or jungle. So I would expect some ADC bans to be coming out from the side of SR here. I think it's likely that... oh no, actually they are pivoting over to Xerath, another decent counter to Aurora. I think maybe she'll do even better into the Xerath than the Malzahar, but it is a matter of comfort. Nocturne's being banned away from Hero here. I'd still expect to see some ADC bans come out against 1T, although we could see some top lane bans come out too, since the brand can be flexed between ADC and jungle. I am going to just briefly hide the overlay when the second bans come through, so that we're able to see what they are, but for now I think we're fine. Looks like it is going to be Xin Zhao banned away from Noam. I think jungle is probably the worst lane to be banning at this point in time. Although I think Jonah has such a big champion pool, he's going to have counter pick anyway. It's going to be hard to predict what's going to be picked there. So I don't necessarily hate not banning top, but I think the brand is more likely to be a flex between the two roles. So I think top is probably the most effective lane to ban. Let me see if I can tell what that is. I actually can't, so I'm going to hide that. Is the Wukong. It's kind of what I was thinking, but Wukong banned away from Hero. I think that's a really good ban. Definitely one of his best champions. I think all three of his kind of signature champions have been banned away at this point. His Xin Zhao is also pretty good, and their team was the one who elected to ban it away. It looks like that last ban is going to be Zehen, which is a flex between top and jungle, so I think that's a pretty good ban against 1T, although 1T is probably going to pick here. I'd expect it to be top lane so that they don't ruin the flex for themselves, but definitely could be a jungler or an ADC as well. It's going to be the Fury. It keeps the flex alive, actually even better, because that could flex between top and jungle, and the brand could be flexed between jungle and AD. Interested to see what they pick into it. Not super sure what counters it that Kage plays, although I'd imagine a tank would be pretty good. But then at that point, I think you just see something else go into it. Looks like it's going to be the Shen pick, but again, that could be jungle or top. They don't quite know. It would be nice to see another champion that can go in both of those roles to just keep it open as a complete flex. From the side of SR, I think that would be pretty good drafting from them. I think that would be a little more likely if Mason wasn't called, but I don't believe they are. It's going to be Ornn. We have seen the Ornn jungle, but I kind of doubt that it would come out here. Pretty good matchup into the Neferi, but you know, I think there's other stuff they probably could have picked. Cho and Sion probably would have been good too, but Kage has been performing really well in the Ornn. But I think there's tons of things you can counter pick it with. Poppy is going to come through. That can also be a flex, but I'd imagine that does force the brand to be ADC, which I guess does make sense because it was picked in the Unara. I was kind of assuming it wasn't because Gruer is so good at the ADC champion pool, generally speaking, but it is just going to be Poppy and Neferi filling out the top jungle. I'm not necessarily sure which is going where. I would assume it's more likely for it to be Poppy into Ornn and Neferi into Shen. I don't think jungle matchups matter a ton, so I don't expect that to be a super duper big deal, but it could end up being one. Looks like Neferi does have a slightly positive win rate into Shen, so I don't imagine that being big of a deal. I do think it's interesting that Hero and Kage are both on very tanky supportive champions. It's really just going to allow Sandy and Vitas to just scale. I mean, as with the Yuumi as well, they're going to be so powerful in the late game. However, if the Neferi or Xerath, or I mean really the brand, are just able to get on top of them and one-shot them, I think it completely kills their team fighting ability in the late game. So it's definitely a shame that the Malzahar didn't come through. I think that probably would have been better. Noam is the one on Poppy. So it's going to be Jonah playing Nefiri, but Noam's playing top. So we actually do get to see a role swap come out. This is kind of what I've been pushing for all season behind the scenes. I think Jonah's a really good jungler. And I think there's probably a bigger role fall off for him than there is for Noam. So I was interested to see why they played Jonah top, but I think Jonah does just straight up play more top lane than Noam. So I think it is a comfort thing there. And Noam's looked really good on jungle the last few seasons, but we will get to see how this roster could have played out. Although I think the bigger differences are going to be between the mid and bot lanes where Nova has been in, and I wouldn't say that that was what looked the best. For them, that series was a little rough, but it's going to be fun to get to see Brewer and Dad play together in a lane. I know they're pretty good friends and wanted to get to play together this season, so it'll be exciting to see that. I am trying to get the assets right in the right spot. The lane swap is making it a little difficult. Kage is the one on Ornn though, so just able to confirm that. Not that that was super duper into question. Definitely exciting to see the role swap come out, and I think Noam's just really, really good on tanks. So he showed that he's able to have success on carry junglers also this season. They had a really good series where I think their only win, he was on a lot of carry junglers, which looked super good. But I don't know. I think seeing him with the Poppy is going to be quite interesting, and it's a good counter into the Ornn. Oh, that's wrong. All right, there we go. So the champion matchups, we actually don't have Shen versus Nefiri. I don't think either of those have been main jungle throughout most of their lifetime, so I don't think it's super duper surprising that we haven't seen that matchup before. But Ornn Poppy is something we've seen a ton. Both of them have basically the same KDA, and with 9 games, one of them has to have the advantage. So I guess slight edge to Poppy. But yeah, as I was talking about, the Aurora versus Xerath is definitely in favor of Aurora. It feels like she should be able to space out a lot of his abilities, has a dash in her kit, and being invisible, it's going to be really hard to get hit by a lot of those skill shots. So kind of tough lane there, but Brand's beaten Yunara in the one game that's happened in Scrim Zone. Much better KDA for the Yunara, and Nami has just completely owned Yuumi in the server. Really good KDA on the Namis too. Yuumi is obviously going to have a good KDA no matter what, because Yuumi is a lot less likely to die than other squishier supports. But that's kind of the story there. Past performance, though, this is Hero's first time playing Shen jungle. I think Shen overall, maybe. Sandy's 3-0 on the Aurora, so it's kind of on that threshold of being his featured champion. Vitas 6-2 on the Yunara. Actually, basically as good as the Varus. I just believe he has a slightly better KDA on the Varus. Lelouch has played the Yuumi twice, with one result going in each way. Kage is 2-1. It is his featured champion, but he really does not like to repeat champions, so I think that kind of lends towards a lot of his champions having a few amount of games. Brewer and Dad have played the brand and Nami before, not to a terrible amount of success. Jonah's Nefiri, definitely the best looking champion for them here, and Nova's Xerath, I think, is a close second. Again, at 5 games, it has to go one way or the other. I think it's kind of as good as even in terms of the win rate. Don't think any of this super duper matters, but we actually have seen one series of Vitas versus Brewer, and Vitas did win out on that in the bot lane. Sandy versus Nova, that was a bit of a closer series, but I believe that is still just one series. Nova actually had the up on him in terms of KDA, which I think is pretty rare for a player to have a better KDA than Sandy in a matchup. There's probably only a handful of people where that's true. And Lelouch versus Dad, they've only played once, so not a full series. I wonder if that could have been in a Bilgewater or something, but Lelouch does have the up there. Really good KDA into Dad as well. I'm not actually sure what our featured matchup was. I kind of want to go take a peek at that, and it is going to be Vitas versus Brewer, so we can see the champions they played. Looks like it was more traditional ADCs that time around. Varus is pretty good comfort for Vitas, and Brewer was on Jhin, which is the second most played in the bot lane. Vitas obviously a lot more comfortable in the bot lane, but Brewer's stats are not half bad. unless he's specifically against Vetus, then it looks a little worse. But I think Gruer versus Dad should be a really strong bot lane. I think my only real gripe about the draft from 1T is that I think the Malzahar would have been way better in this game, and it's a bit of a bummer that we didn't see it come out. But I think Nova just really enjoys the Xerath and is going to play his most comfortable champion if it's available. This is a no TP game from SR in the early game. However, it is a 3 TP game for 1T. So big difference. The roams are going to be a lot more strong from 1T. They're going to get the shields when they show up. And I think on these mages, it's going to help a little bit. Actually, they're not going to get the leveled up TPs. They're just going to base TPs. So the rotations are still going to be really good from 1T. But only Noam's going to get the shield, which honestly works out for him. I don't think that's a big issue. 3 combat sums and no ignite for the bot lane of SR is pretty interesting. But again, this game does not matter for standings, so we might see a little silliness come out. But I believe both teams are going to be taking it pretty seriously. Especially with how these drafts look. Some early trading is coming out from bot lane. Snark getting a lot of damage down, and Kage trading pretty heavily into Noam as well. Looks like it's pretty much just SR favored across the board so far. Lots of trading coming out in these lanes. I think you really have to go for that when you have combat sum versus TP advantage in every single lane. You're going to have to make the most out of that. And 1T is really going to look to try and punish in the mid game with better rotations, and kind of as they go into late game with the late game macro, I think the combat sums actually do make a pretty significant difference in the late game where you're able to use them every fight, and the TPs are actually a pretty big cooldown if you're not able to get them off, although the sums are going to be less effective as you get there. Now Noam's actually winning out on these trades, is actually able to provide enough pressure that Kage does not walk up to get the auto, and huge trade coming out from Nova, but Sandy's able to take some damage back on the backside of it, so it's not completely one-sided. But I think Nova's going to have to look for a kill. Huge drop in the CS department, and that's just a flash forward, dropping the Ignite as well, and Sandy able to pick up first blood. And I think that's the opposite of what you need to happen as the Xerath. I think maybe the Malzahar could have been a better pick here, but we're just going to have to see how this plays out. So far, Sandy, a huge lead, and just buying the Dark Seal, looking to capitalize more on it. It's able to buy the refill pots as well, which is going to be huge into the Xerath. And Nova's just forced to buy a Sapphire Crystal on the back, which will help a little bit with the poke, but it's not going to offer you any sort of defensive stats. Except for, I guess, more access to your E. Noam, really good block here, but that Brittle auto almost takes him out. I think Noam's just going to have to use that TP early, just like Nova had to in the bot lane, but luckily not dying to that trade. On the way pings coming up from Hero, he was potentially looking for a bot lane gank, but instead is just going to go for the crab and actually meet Jonah on the crab. They're getting some damage out, and Jonah is able... I actually don't think Jonah was able to get the crab, and now he's getting collapsed on by the bot lane, but I think he should be able to get away. He was the one that used the smite, but Hero was able to pick up the crab. I think just slightly early smite there. Now Nova could be in big trouble. They're looking for the double crab onto the Shen here, and I think Aurora is going to have a much easier time roaming, but Noam has prio in the sense that Ornn isn't even there, but Hero immediately going onto Jonah is able to connect with a taunt, and Sandy's going to get there first. Xerath is going to try to be in the area, but now they're kiting up towards Noam, and I think Noam can completely warp this fight. Sandy getting some more damage onto Jonah, but Noam slamming him into the wall. Nova not able to find the damage, but they still might be able to kill Sandy. Some damage coming out from the Poppy. I don't know if it's going to be enough. The taunt coming out from Hero, really good angle, and Xerath flashing forward trying to find the kill, but actually Hero's just going to be able to pick it up. And Kage entering this fight just in time to change the tide of it. Ornn able to get some damage down, found the assist, but now Snark is trying to be collapsed on by Gruer and Dad. But these combat sums are making such a huge difference here. Gruer falling down, and that was 2 summoner spells out, no ignite, so Gruer is not going to fall down. But that is 2 spells exchanged on each side, and the flash is going to be a much longer cooldown. Gruer forced to use that defensively. And SR has already cemented such a big lead at this point in the game. Both of their kills are onto that Xerath in the mid lane, and unfortunately Nova's only at 10 CS at this point. Really good play there by Noam, slamming Kage into his own pillar. But Nova's just getting outplayed super hard in the mid lane. Had counter pick and just is not able to find what you'd want from that. Noam out of mana here. Could be in a tough spot. Bought the call. Knows that Kage tends to get out farmed. Trying to make it a lead out of that for himself. Could be hard. Sandy now going for an aggressive play under tower. He's going to get spotted out, so he's not going to take too much damage. Really good trade back from Nova. Able to hit all 3 abilities. Where Sandy actually missed everything but the E. Guru able to hold his own in farm versus Snark. Jungle farm equal, top farm equal. It's really just this mid lane that has a gap. Gnome could be in big trouble here, though. Has the ultimate advantage to knock Ornn away if he needs to. But he's not going to have a TP back here if he needs to get a base off. Huge stun coming out from Nova, able to trade pretty heavily back into Sandy. The ultimate was just used mid lane. Don't think it's going to be able to find anything. Yeah, Nova, really good job evading it. It's getting some damage out onto Sandy, but Sandy's going for this play. Gets a stun under tower, and Nova should be able to find a solo bolo here onto Sandy. And yes, Nova just able to get it. The Ignite does come through, and I think that means Sandy will be able to trade back, so it is a 1-for-1, but as far as I'm concerned, that was a solo kill down onto Sandy. Sandy did force the dive and was able to get a few more CS in, but Nova getting into a better spot there. We should see a play come out mid. Hero, really good taunt onto Jonah, and Jonah needs to burn the ultimate. Should be trying to kite away here, but gets so much damage out onto Hero. Gets the second Q off for some healing, but Snark just flashing forward is able to find a kill onto Jonah, and I think this fight is now just one for the side of SR. One team needs to retreat, but Xerath ultimate coming through is able to hit Hero twice, but he had the Yuumi shield on him, and this is just going to be really tough. Brewer not at 6 yet. I think the Brand ultimate could have turned this, but it just was not available. And now Nova walking up too far, and Sandy should be able to punish this really hard, but Nova able to hit the stun one more time. So maybe he does have a good read on this matchup. Aurora, pretty predictable movement, has been able to take really good advantage of that. Brewer now hitting 6, but unfortunately Jonah just committing too hard at the fight, not realizing that Snark and Lelouch would be able to roam up a little faster. And he did get punished for that. It gives over the dragon, gives over the scuttle crab, and gives over his life. Actually, he might have been able to get the crab. I didn't pay super attention to that. It looked like it did go over to Hero, though. Hero's been finding every taunt the way he needs to in this series. It's been looking really good. And now the Shen ultimate going towards the bot lane. Hero just burning it early, trying to get something done, but they actually get 0 summoner spells out of 1T in exchange for 3 ultimate abilities, so this is actually a really good exchange for 1 Thief. Kage trading onto Noam pretty well, has the ultimate available. If he's able to get both brittle procs, that would get Noam down to a very low amount of HP. Jonah looking for the gank onto the Aurora here, about to get his ultimate up. The stun does land from Nova. Nova walking forward, trying not to walk too far forward and end up dying for it. Noam could be in trouble here. Has the ultimate, though. And now Jonah looking for the play, but just immediately gets taunted by Hero. Hero's just right where he needs to be every single time this game. And now the ultimate coming through from Sandy, and I think they're looking for this kill into Jonah, but Jonah positioning really well, able to dash away. Had to burn the flash, but this play from Hero is really good. And Noam's able to push Kage out of it, and he gets the solo kill. Uses the E to interrupt it. Normally you think about the W being the ability that interrupts the Ornn ultimate, but he's just able to get it done with the E. Really well played by Noam, and he's able to get the solo bolo. Something not many people are actually able to get into Kage. So really well played by Noam on the Poppy here. And Hero's just been playing so well this game. It feels like he's always exactly where he needs to be. I wonder how much of it is poor jungle tracking on 1T's part versus him actually just needing being in the right spot all the time, but I'm willing to give him the credit. The objective control has been really good for them, and it looks like he is going to be the first one to get up to Grubs. Poppy is walking down to maybe get vision on it, but looks like he did not have his ward up in time. Or no, he did. He just didn't place it. Jonah now looking for the play on bot. They have this warded out, but it might not matter. The bubble trying to come through onto Snark, but it doesn't connect, and Gruer taking so much damage here. The heal's been forced out already, but tower shots are being taken on Snark. Jonah dashing in, should be able to pick up this kill. Does not have his ultimate available, though, but he hits the Q, and Lelouch should be soon to follow after this. And yeah, they're just taken out. Really well played by Jonah. Good roam, able to find the double kill. They're still behind in this game, though. The CS gap is making a big difference towards the mid lane, but I think everywhere else on the map, 1T's basically even. It's within 300 gold. Sandy looking for a play, does not have the ultimate, and Nova just finds him blind, almost hits the stun, too. Has the ultimate, is actually just going to be using it versus Sandy. And Shen ultimate is forced out. It looked like he was going to be able to dodge it, but better safe than sorry, I guess. And Hero was looking to find a punish mid. I think trading the Xerath ultimate for the Shen ultimate is always worth it. Shen was able to pick up the grubs, though, but Sandy flashing forward, and Nova should just be able to pick up the kill. That's another solo over to Nova, but I think the Ignite is going to take him out once again, and they're just trading. And that actually was all 3 grubs going over to Hero. Hero able to find that ultimate play mid and still able to get all the grubs. I think he was able to steal away some of them. Noam walking back towards top lane, and the objective control just looking really good for SR, but the fact that Nova was able to go even there, really well played by Nova. Xerath is very obviously comfort, and he's playing it super well. Gruer just looking to poke Snark out. Able to drop the E and the W down there. Trying to do his best to keep Snark poked down, so if they go for an all-out engage, the upfront burst from Snark isn't going to be enough to outdo Gruer's damage. Both lanes have a decent amount of sustain, though, although Nami's is a lot more effective. Yuumi getting swapped to having the shielding more available than the healing quite a bit ago. But now it is a 4-man commit towards the bot side from SR and only a 3-man from 1T. Xerath pinging out Mia, knows that something's going on. The dragon is going to be up right now. For some reason, the hourglass didn't show up. But I think this is going to be really hard to contest from the side of 1T, especially with the amount of vision coming through from the side of SR. They can maybe look to get some poke down, but it's so hard for Xerath to face check into this. Jonah could be looking for a steal, knows that they're there, and actually the Poppy TP is coming down, but it's going to be a little late. Xerath ultimate is coming through, and actually Snark being the one to pick this up, but Snark is falling down super low, is able to get over the wall with his flash, but stun comes down onto the Aurora, and I think that should be enough to seal her fate. No one making sure she cannot get out, flashing to get in range for the field, and Jonah on top of them, but not on top of them enough. I think they're only going to be able to find the 1 kill, but that does give them the gold lead. And huge swing in the 1T's favor, but they still were not able to pick up the dragon. Very funny when that happens, and there's 2 junglers in the pit, yet some random person just ends up picking up the dragon. Well played by Snark to know to hit the dragon, though. Wanted to make sure it did get secured by his team. Gruer still has ultimate available. No one else in the bot lane does, so if he's able to find a good angle and get close enough to the Yunara, I think he might be able to find a kill. A bubble or a brand Q, I think, would seal their fate. However, the Shen ultimate is still available, so he can't play too aggressively. Nova taking 2 tower shots there, and I think that should just be a solo kill going over to Sandy. Nova did flash away, so that could be big. Gruer now dropping the ultimate. It is going to come through. Snark cleansed the stun, and it's going to end up missing the W, or I think the Q, whatever ability that is. But Hero going for the taunt under tower, taking a ton of tower shots, and they're able to find a stun on him under tower too, so Hero pushing way too far up, but the Yumi's just going to be able to bail him out, and Exhaust and Heal comes down to make sure that Hero is not going to die. Gruer and Dad staying alive, but Sandy on the prowl looking for something here. They're just going to try to walk back, but if the Nami and Bran get too split up, they could just be rabbit food, and Sandy is going forward. Gruer just walks into her, but is able to find the stun. Huge burst of damage coming through, and able to dodge away from the E. Noam, alright, Jonah and Nova are in the area. Xerath ultimate is coming back up so soon, and the Shen ultimate is not available this time to save him. Jonah just pushing forward, looking for this, and now the Xerath ultimate's down, and Yuumi ulting the Aurora to try and keep her alive, but Jonah just going for it. His ultimate gets canceled, and that was a TP back from Gruer to rejoin the fight. And this is going really well for 1T, actually. Noam gets a stun down onto Kage, gets the knockup, and that's just another solo kill for Noam in top lane. Not very many people have had kill lanes into Kage, but Noam's getting it done on Poppy. Not necessarily a champion you'd expect to be the one doing that, but he's doing a really good job. Snark looking for a wraparound here. He's able to find some damage down onto Dad, and I don't know if they're going to be able to find CC onto Snark, but the bubble is a really good deterrent, and now Dad has to drop the ultimate and run away, but Gruer walking forward to try and get some damage. Has his flash available if he needs it, but doesn't look like he's going to have to use it. Speed ups from Nami look to be enough in that situation. Snark dashing forward for some extra damage, but it's not going to be enough to kill. Although he could look for a dive, does not have the ultimate available, but maybe he could just auto him a few times. He does have his first item completed, but so does Gruer. Black Fire Torch in exchange for Kraken. Snark has a few extra items in his inventory, though. Gruer just looking to wave clear as fast as possible to make sure Snark takes tower shots if he goes for anything. That's another plate going over to SR. And all the side lane towers down to one plate. Nova's been doing the best job of defending a tower so far this game. Both mid laners, 3, 4, and 1. It's actually evened out a lot since the beginning of the game. It's a big battle of farm versus kills at this point. Farm advantages mostly over to the side of SR, except the very top side, the top jungle of 1T is doing a little better. Noam has completed the call already, as has Snark. Nova's in big trouble here, though, and that ultimate is just dropped by Sandy. I think this should just be a clean kill. He's just able to get it with the ultimate and the Q. No 1-for-1s needed this time in order to force something. I think this should be the bot lane tower. The bubble is burned, but the Voidlings, or whatever they're called, well, the Void Mites are doing a lot. Huge dodge from Noam there, but I think he might be dead anyway. Is dropping his ult to counter the Ornn ult, which is able to stall him out for a little bit. He's able to block the taunt from Shen, and he should just be fine. Noam outplaying once again, but both of those side lane towers being taken by SR, and now they have the gold lead back. Dad pinging towards this Drake, knows they need to be able to contest it. Mountain Dragons on Ornn and the Shen are going to be so impactful. Not going to be as beneficial for 1T, but you kind of need to deny them from SR. It looks like SR is fully committing onto this Rift Herald. Dad could just get one shot here. Sandy biding his time before he shows up, but he is going to miss the E, but is able to avoid the bubble. But now they're collapsing 3 people down towards bot. I think the Xerath and Poppy just need to rotate here quick, but Gruer looking to find a pick onto Snark before this all starts. They probably just need to burn this dragon immediately to avoid having to deal with the Shen and Ornn, but they did not realize they were on the Rift Herald until just now, and as soon as they get that intel, they turn towards the dragon. Dad could be in a bit of a pinch here, gets hit by the Yuumi, gets slowed down. He's in a bit of a bad position, but looks like 1T is now fully committing towards the bot side. But now Ornn and Shen are in the area. No Ornn ultimate is very crucial, but Noam does not have his ultimate up either. Snark is trying to 1v1 the Nami, and it's going really well for him. Dad is able to heal up a lot of the damage that they were taking, though, and the initial damage is being put down onto the dragon by 1T, and they should be able to find it. Huge flank is set up here by the Aurora, and the smite is going to be going over to Hero once again. He is 3 for 3 there, and Nova's going to be the first casualty of the fight. Jonah trying to get onto Snark, but the Shen ultimate has come through to kind of stop that, and now Hero should be the benefactor of another kill in this fight. Sandy getting his flank off, collapsing onto the Brand and the Nami, not able to find anything immediately, but he should be able to find something at the end. He flashes forward to get some extra damage, forcing the flash out of Gruer, and that is a 3 for 0, and they get the dragon. And I think SR's just broke open this game. It's going to be really hard for 1T to come back now. They're on the back foot, having to play against Soul Point for every single one of these dragons, but it looked so good for them up to this point. The tempo from SR is just better. They're at things faster. They were able to get their Rift Herald and then immediately rotated down to the dragon. Just not enough proactivity from 1T to just start it off spawn. They weren't sure where the Shen and the Ornn were until they saw the Rift Herald taken after the dragon spawned, or kind of as the dragon was spawning. And the 3 people who have not died this game are the people like I'd have my eye on. Hero's been playing almost perfectly so far this game. Really well done from him in kind of all aspects. And Gruer and Dad have been doing their best into this Yunara Yuumi lane. They have not been the ones dying around them, but Yunara and Yuumi have gotten to participate in 4 kills in this game, and it's gotten them quite far ahead. And those extra items have helped them increase that farm lead in the bot lane. Plus the fact that Yunar is just a hell of a lot easier to farm on than Brand is. She's able to trade with abilities and get kills off the autos, whereas Brand kind of needs to pick and choose where his abilities are landing. Oh, I'm really scrapping with Kage here. Noam able to collapse onto Sandy here. Shen ultimate is coming through to keep Sandy alive, and now Jonah just needs to run away, but immediately gets taunted. Hero, perfect accuracy. It's not going to matter though. Jonah flashes away, but now Gruer, I think, is going to get that first number in the death column. Snark and Yumi able to find the angle there. Sorry, Snark and Lelouch. Yeah, that last dragon felt like it was the breaking point for 1T. It's really hard for them to punish. They have a very strong mid lane team, especially with these teleports, but as soon as you fall behind in the mid game, I think Aurora and Yunar are just really going to get ahead here. Jonah does not have his ultimate available, so he's not even really able to force here. I think Noam might still be the only member of 1T to have a significant lead. Sandy almost falling down there. Noam just trying to take the tower, and then I think he can win the 1v1. Is really able to just outplay Kage there. The Brittle auto is doing a lot, but Noam should be able to find a kill. And actually, Snark's kind of caught out there, forced to flash and taking so much damage from the Baron. But now Noam looking around, knows that there's two people in the potential kill column there. If he's able to find the angle onto Snark, keeps pushing forward. No Shenar available, but it looks like they're instead just going to take the crab. Jonah accidentally starting up the Nash, but not going to keep hitting it. And Noam does not end up getting that solo kill onto Ornn, but he definitely could have. Jonah could collapse onto Sandy there, just drops the ultimate. It's finally back up, but Sandy does so much damage. He gets a lot done, but they do not have the Xerath ultimate, and Hero is in the area. Good look by Jonah. He's doing what he needs to do, just does not have the damage he needs at this point to take out the Aurora. Xerath able to find the first or second turret of the game. Noam was able to break open top, and then Nova was able to take the second turret for one Thief. Kage is kind of caught out here, but I mean, you're not really going to assassinate an Ornn, especially not when Shen has his ultimate up. But maybe look for an angle down onto Snark, but Sandy does have a really good flank on them coming up from bot lane if he's able to find it. But Hero finding the taunt onto Noam to start off the fight. Noam taking about half his health in terms of damage, but that is the Ornn ultimate committed, and Noam able to buffer his ultimate through the Ornn knockup. Noam almost finding the stun on a Hero, but now Sandy is on the backside. Nova, a huge amount of damage onto Sandy, but he knew that the Storm Surge was going to kill him, so he just goes for it. And now that's an immediate taunt onto the Neferi as she dives in, and I think this is going to be a 5-for-0 ace for the side of SR. Sandy just really finding good flank positions. Maybe Noam and Dad are going to be able to get out here. Dad's still yet to die. Wakage flashing forward, not able to find the wall there, actually, so I think Noam still might be able to live. But no, he gets chunked by the Aurora, and I think that's going to be wraps. No, really good flash, able to keep himself alive. So 3-for-0 for SR, but now Soul is just available for them, and they should be taking that and ending the game somewhat shortly. I think it's become really hard for 1T to contest anything here. Yep, that is the Mountain Soul coming through. Nash is available, but it looks like we're going to see a full reset for SR after that team fight win. Probably the decap? No. Looks like upgraded boots for Sandy. And basically every member of SR has as much kill participation as 1T has kills. pretty much everyone really involved. I think Noam's been able to get a huge lead in the top lane, but I think that's really the strong point for 1T at this point. I think Jonah and Dad have had pretty solid games. Jonah getting involved in some more scrapping, but dying as a result. And I think Noam could be caught out here. Really going to have to find a way to get out of this. Both carries showing up with a Yumi attached to them. And Noam just... That's a jump forward with Sandy's ultimate. It looked like a flash came out, just I think spectator bug. But now they're finding the collapse onto Snark, but Sandy just immediately able to delete the Neferi, and Nova just overstaying that ultimate a little too long. Shen ultimate is coming down on top, and this might be the 5 for 0 that they're looking for. I believe this is a Nash at minimum. Huge flash taunt from Hero, and they're going to take out Brewer. Dad's still yet to die in this game, but he might not need to in order for SR to win. Getting a lot of damage down onto the top tower, and I think they're just going to look to end through mid after it. I think Snark just wants his gold. They have about a 20-second window. Looks like they're confident they're going to be able to win the fight off the respawns. Noam and Jonah both going to be up, but they're just autoing these Nexus turrets, and I think they're going to be able to take them out rather quickly. Noam able to knock Shen away. Shen does not have his ultimate available. Snark trying to find a kill onto Dad the first time this game. Noam just going to be the first one to fall, though. Tried to find the stun onto Snark and almost did, but it did not matter. And now they are going to take everybody out. Dad no longer deathless. And I think this is just going to be an easy end of the game. Hero losing out on some KP because he got knocked away, but I'm going to have to give him the MVP for this game. I think he played phenomenally. He was always there. Really good ultimates. And yeah, quick win from SR. Looked like once he had it for a decent amount in the early game, but they just were not able to close it out. The good news for 1T is I think a lot of the scarier champions from SR are eliminated due to Fearless. So I think maybe it would look better for them in the next game, but the signature champion from Nova is gone, which I think is going to hurt them a little bit. I am going to swap the cast back over because we're back on the Scrim Zone draft tool, it looks like. I'm going to have to repaste the link here. Ooh, it is. Oh, there we go. Just took a bit to load. Let me get these assets correct. Looks like One Thief is staying on the red side, so we're not going to see a change of side. I am going to just pencil in Noam as staying as the top laner, but obviously they could flex based on which champion ends up getting picked for jungle. Okay, I forget what draft time is. It looks like 8:55, so we have a few more minutes. Looking at the featured champions, if Noam stays on top, we can see his champion to watch is actually also Orange. The fact that it was denied from him due to Fearless. It's pretty interesting here. It looks like Vetus is probably not going to draw bans again. Expect to see more bans come out against Sandy. The Aurora being denied away through Fearless is pretty good. Probably going to see the Lee Sin taken away again. I don't think there's any champions that you'd want to ban elsewhere. Maybe take out the Zeri in exchange for it, but I don't know. I don't really love that either. It looks like we're actually still on draft law. I'm not sure what's happening. Very weird stuff. Should still be 855 though. But yeah, the Ornn is gone. I'd expect to see similar bans where we see a lot banned away from Sandy and not a lot banned away from Vetus. Although maybe the Lee Sin will come through and maybe it won't. It's hard to know. Echo coming through again. I guess we'll probably see Syndra as well. I don't think they're going to be playing either of those in the bot lane, but oh well. They're still triple banning for fun, I guess. Could just be that they're not sure what else to ban. Sorry, it's just looking at some things. Seems like bans are staying the same. Definitely interesting that SR is not willing to first pick Mel, but it is definitely a counterable champion, and I think maybe Sandy and Vetus just don't want to play it. And that actually is going to be the Ziggs coming through, so Syndra is available. I wonder if Sandy's just going to first pick that. The Victor banned again. I think Fizz is probably the other big notable champion from Sandy, but he can play a lot. Maybe we will just see the Syndra come out first. Hard to know, though. Looks like it's an Akshan pick. I guess this could technically be for 3 different people on SR. I would doubt it would be jungle or support, but if they're willing to do that, maybe it's even bigger than that. Don't know what 1T is going to pick in response to this. I think the Malzahar would be pretty good into it. I'm not sure they didn't pick it last game. And yeah, it looks like that is going to be the hover and the lock. Not sure what else they're going to pick. I think it'd be fun to get to see Brewer on the Lucian or the Jhin. Stuff he plays a decent amount of. His Trist he's gotten a lot of practice on as well in the mid lane. But really the Jhin and the Lucian are the 2 that I think of when I think of Brewer on ADCs. And it is going to be the Jhin coming through. Not in the mid lane this time, but we have gotten to see that a lot from Brewer. Just not going to happen this time around, which I think is completely fine. Looks like Kalista is going to be the response to it. Pretty good pick into Jhin, actually, so I think we could see a big pop-off game come through. I guess it's going to be auction top. We get to see the Veigar come through for Sandy. Maybe this is just a crazy support pick, or maybe Hero's trying some shit in the jungle. I honestly do not know. SR could just be playing with their food a little bit in this game, but hey, maybe it's something they know and we don't. They could have just been baiting out the Malzahar pick for mid lane. I think Malzahar is really going to struggle into Veigar, so I think that is a smart pickup. Jonah is opting for the Jarvan. Looks like Renata's being banned. Really good pairing with Kalista, and we know Lelouch is absolutely cracked on the pick. I think that's a good ban coming out from 1T. The Jarvan, I kind of question how good it's going to be, because Sandy, if Sandy gets gone on, the cage can at least get buffered, and Jarvan's going to have to go through it, which is going to stun him after the Unstoppable wears off. Zyra banned against Dad. Do not know what that is, actually. Looks like Milio banned as well. Jhin Milio is actually pretty good and could be good for people who get stuck in the Veigar, but we're not going to see that come through. I honestly like Nami a lot with Jhin too. I'm interested to see what 1T's going to pick. The other ban that we saw come through was the Nautilus, so that is no longer an option as well. Zillion, Bard, both available for Dad. I think they're really good champions in his repertoire. We could see them come out. It's going to be Galio instead, actually. Not something we see as often from him, but pretty good in the Kalista, especially if Kalista's getting spears into Jhin and she has to split between 2 targets. It's really going to hurt her. And the slow that comes out, obviously, is a really big deal because it hurts her movement speed. I'm honestly not, I don't even think she gets to dash while she's taunted. That was a hover for the Lelouch Nico. We actually might still get to see that come through because Hero's locking in the Viego. I actually do not know what that first hover is. It's kind of hard to tell from the sides of these champions, but we're seeing a lot of top lane hovers actually. So this could be a support Akshan. Looks like Rumble's the final hover. Maybe it's Kalista support. And yeah, they are locking in Rumble, so maybe, I guess that could be support or top. I think Rumble support's probably way better than Akshan support, but given the other champions they hovered, it's actually really hard to tell. And I mean, what do you counterpick? What beats both Akshan and Rumble? And figuring that out in like 30 seconds is quite hard. So I'm hoping Noam just picks something comfort for top lane. Because, good God, what do you even do into this? No one plays Akshan top, so there's like no matchup data on it. He's basically just mid at this point. Rumble's at least actually played top. And, I mean, I don't even know what you pick into it. Looks like, you know, the timer on draft wall is not as forgiving as the Scrim Zone draft timer, so they did not get their pick locked in time. Looks like oh, it's Silas. Seems like the call was give me Aurora, which is really good in the Rumble. It's the best matchup per stats, but obviously banned in Fearless, so that is going to be Silas in top lane. Malzahar mid, Galio support. I don't think that's terribly surprising for anybody. Is the Rumble top, so it's Akshan bot lane. What the hell are we doing, guys? Very exciting stuff, I guess. In some sense. I am trying to get our assets for these champions. It's taking me a bit because I wasn't terribly sure, I guess. Okay, let me just switch back to the other thing because I think I have some weird keybinds set up there. I do get to see Lelouch Akshan support. I think this will be quite interesting. I think this ploy to counterpick the Malzahar may or may not pay off. I think it'll be pretty exciting to see how that works out. Okay, Should actually have the stuff here now. Maybe we'll get to see if Lelouch has actually played this before, although I really sincerely doubt it. Seems like something I would remember if it had happened, but okay, Lelouch has played Akshan twice before and lost both times on it actually, so maybe that's why it's not super memorable. Kind of hard to know. Let me see. I can check Akshan and played once this season, so I can check all seasons. One was in, okay, they were actually both mid lane Akshan games, so it hasn't been played support. So I think that covers my bases a little bit. Not, you know, extremely well, but I think that gives me a reasonable excuse. Looking at the champion matchups, though, obviously we haven't seen Akshan versus Galio. Kalista has beaten Jhin the one time that's been played. Malzahar actually 2-0 up on the Vigar, which I think is interesting. Rumble versus Sylas has not been played before, which is somewhat surprising. And Viego absolutely mogs Jarvan. So the Jarvan pick, definitely well countered by the Viego. And I think we've seen Hero's Viego before, which I can check when I get back to the right slide. Hero 1-1 on the pick. Jonah performing way better on the Jarvan than Hero is on the Viego. So maybe that will come out on top. Nova undefeated on the Malzahar when he's played it. Sandy 1-1 on the Vigar, but did have a really good game on it in his win. Vetus 1-1 on Kalista. Gruer actually looking really, really good on that Jhin, 5-3 with a 6 KDA over 8 games. Noam has played the Sylas a little bit. Not a super great record, but oh well. Who cares, really? Okay, we should be getting in the game now. Oh, Lelouch actually has a crap ton of mastery on Akshan. I do not know ball, clearly.
A summoner has disconnected.
Immediate pause.
A summoner has reconnected.
Expect to see 2 people die to start off this match. Although Sylas can wait a little bit to use his Kalista Spear. There's no real advantage for him using it early. Kalista obviously wants it for her W, but if she waits a little bit to skill W, then you can choose later. But you definitely want that in lane, especially with how easy it is for Akshan to auto people. But we should be in game now. I'll make sure that I actually have the objective timers up. I know I've been forgetting that a little bit. But we are loading in. Kill going onto Jonah. And Kalista must have already killed Lelouch. But typical pause shenanigans. I'll have to jump back and jump back. Okay, and I'm just going to catch us back up to live. Galio just taunting immediately, is able to find the connection down onto Snark. Gruer looking to go forward in auto. Is able to get that 4th shot off. I don't know if he's going to have enough damage. Does reload and finds first blood. And Akshan looking to find a kill here. Gruer should be able to get the 4th shot off, but no, he doesn't get it in time. So it is going to be a 1v1, 1 for 1. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. And Lelouch trying to trade back in onto the Galio and should actually win out on this. And I think a flash forward would do it, but the Lelouch does not have the flash anymore. Still walking forward. That Q might be enough damage, but a kill going over to the support in exchange for a kill going over to the ADC, but I don't know. I think a kill on Akshan is going to be valuable. More so than most supports. Definitely. And Lelouch able to pick up some farm in the early game. Not definitely not prioritizing it. The emote's much more important. You're obviously looking for the mental damage with a pick like Akshan support. And lots of farm denied onto Gruer because both ADCs were the ones that died, even though they didn't both get kills. Gruer able to come back with a longsword. Akshan not able to get a base off because, you know, she didn't die. Once he has a short window to punish where Snark's still level 1, but that window is gone. Lelouch a little bit healthier than Dad after the trades, but now Dad just going in, trying to find the play onto Akshan. Looks like Gruer missed the taunt. I don't think it's going to matter. He's able to get the auto off, but I think Dad is going to die. Kill's going over to both ADCs at this point, and Kalista does have the huge advantage in the 1v1. Looks like Kage is outplaying Noam in lane, at least for the early trade. Silas is going to need to get some CDR and, you know, some mana before he's really able to win the lane, but Noam's still trading in. Kage is going to have really powerful trades at short range, especially when he has high heat. But CS pretty even. CS actually even mid and jungle and bot. We had a small window where CS was even everywhere except Akshan had one more minion kill than Galio, which is a rarity. Lelouch now just roaming towards mid, immediately goes on Nova off the respawn. Nova forced to flash. Sandy's still trading in though, but now it looks like Jarvan's gonna kind of counter gang topside. Really good cross map. Noam looking to punish, dashing through, trying to clear the wave so that Jonah's just able to hit. Noam does not have enough mana to really go back in, but maybe an E would be all it takes, and they're just going to force Kage off the wave, and that's all that gets done. But since they killed out the wave with the Silas, I think Kage is just going to be able to farm most of it. Nova getting chunked, and they're going to look to meet on the crab, but Vigar is rotating up with the Viego, so this is in the favor of SR, and they're just able to steal the crab again, it looked like. I think Hero was able to get it with the smite, and Jonah just trying to get out, drops the flag, looking for the flag and drag, but isn't able to go over the wall, and Hero looking to punish down onto Nova here, and all three members of the top side are in the area. Noam still does not have any mana. I think Hero is going to be able to find the kill onto Nova with the Q from Viego, and Vigar able to pick up a kill, and it is 5-2 for SR to start off this game. And they just got the ball rolling at this point, and this team is going to snowball so hard. I think 1T is probably a team comp that wants to look for more strategic fights and get things done. You definitely won ult for so many of these champions for 1T, and they just were not able to get to that point. Down 1.7k gold to start this game off. And just horrible rotation from 1T. They all get caught out trying to stop that play in the top side. Noam going into trade, but again, the Q's just so much damage from Kage. Noam's trading looking a little better, but he was able to buy an item. Gruer getting chunked down by Snark. The taunt is going to help, and I think Jonah should be able to be in the area. Snark, I believe, is going to fall down here, and Lelouch is just going to try to leave. So actually really well played by the side of 1T, trying to find something back, get some gold into Gruer's pocket. And they're doing a pretty good job of that, especially knowing that Snark's going to try to play aggressive with the counter pick and an aggressive champion on top of that. Lelouch trying to wait as long as possible to take the CS, but I think still should last at it. Actually, no, just looking not to, trying to give some of it to Kalista. Lelouch pushing forward. Dad does have the mark, but he's just going to dash away. He knows better. They're able to zone him off of experience, which I think is going to be pretty valuable over time as stuff like this adds up. Lelouch is going to be able to take down this control ward pretty quickly. Get some intel, knows that Jarvan's probably on the top side, and all the camps down bot are dead. Ping's coming out from Viego, looking to reset and go towards that top scuttle crab. I believe Jonah might just go for it also. We could see them fight over it again. I think Jonah just needs to hope that his smite key is a little better than Hero's this time around. Unless, of course, he got it and I just didn't realize. It's kind of hard to tell with the Scuttle Crabs if I don't look at their CS beforehand. But Nova just dropping the ultimate. I don't think it's going to be enough to find the direct kill on Sandy, but is going to give him a huge advantage in the lane, and Jarvan's going to be in the area. But Jonah actually was able to pick up the Scuttle Crab already, and now he's going to look to just get out of here. I don't think he's going to be able to find an angle down onto Veigar, and with the ultimate gone, but actually he has his ultimate available. Lelouch getting rooted here stops the dash coming out there, and Brewer able to find a kill onto Lelouch. Moving forward, not able to find anything else though, and Jarvan maybe could have had an angle onto Sandy, but chose not to go for it with Viego in the area. They did have 2 level 6s in exchange for a level 5 and level 7, which I think would have been in their favor. But Jonah just starting up the dragon now. Nova in a much better position, except for the mana bar. Does not have TP up yet. Will have it before Sandy does. But I think 1T's just hoping to sneak this dragon. Snark is aware of it, but I don't think he's going to try to go for the 1v3. If he does, he'll just almost definitely die. But now they're looking for a 4v3 on the backside of this. Jonah is the one that's the most caught out, but he's just going to stay in the cage for a little bit and try to get out. But that is double ultimate burned in exchange for that kill on Hero. And Lelouch, I think, just got thrown in by Kalista, and they're able to find the kill on top of Dad, too. And this is the second game in a row where SR has been able to find a huge punish on bot, but this time Kage's winning out on the top side. And Noam just not finding the success he found in the earlier game. Sylas is a fairly winning matchup into Rumble, but you do not want to fight early. Early level Rumble is so powerful. I think here is where you see the downside of Noam not playing much top lane this season. Lelouch going for a dive onto Brewer, but now Brewer opening fire with his ultimate, looking for the kill onto Lelouch, and I think he's going to be able to find it. Was hoping to find his 4th shot connecting onto Snark, but Snark smartly gets out of the Brewer ultimate. You know, low bar, but I'll praise it anyway, I guess. Oh, and Nova just taking a tower shot there. Does lose his spell shield. It's a little funny that his spell shield's able to block a tower shot. Right, it's a little inconsistent with that, but he doesn't lose too much for it. And 1T getting a second tower plate here, it looks like. I think that finally went down. But now they're looking for another top river skirmish. Lelouch getting some damage down onto Nova. Hero did get ulted by the Malzahar, and I think is going to be taken down, but Sandy able to find a kill onto the Jarvan, and since Akshan participated, that is going to be a revive coming out for Hero, and I think Noam is going to be the next person to die. Lelouch getting a reset after that second kill. Kage flashing forward, trying to find the damage, and Lelouch just hopping forward, able to find that triple proc, but it is going to be the triple kill going over to Sandy. Playing a very solid game so far. His rotates up to these river fights have been so effective. Snark is going to get taunted up here. Brewer following up with the damage, gets his Q off before the 4-shot. It still does not give him enough damage, and he's taking so much from Lelouch. They're now turning their focus, but Lelouch gets so much damage here, and Hero is in the area, dropping the ultimate down onto Dad, and Lelouch able to find the kill onto Brewer. And they turned around that fight that looked almost lost for SR. It looked like Snark was going to fall down, and maybe they'd find the kill onto Lelouch as well, but neither of them end up dying, and they're looking to dive the Galio on top of this. Lelouch just choosing to swing on the tower, gets killed by Dad, and Hero actually taking a ton of damage from tower as well, and Dad's looking to trade it, is going to get taken down, but I think the Jarvan might be able to find the revenge kill onto Hero. Looks like we're instead looking at mid lane. Jonah trying to find this. Maybe he can EQ to follow the blast cone. It is not going to come through. Veigar does have Flash ultimate available, could find the kill onto Nova, but Nova also has ultimate, so if Nova just kind of presses it onto the Veigar, the Flash would immediately get punished. Oh, Nova's Q missing. Lelouch is in the area, can move forward a little bit, but doesn't know if there's a ward in the bot brush. So many cooldowns available in this area. Could be looking for a kill mid. Lelouch just inching forward. Should be able to find the angle here. Is going to just dash with the E, but gets ulted under tower and is going to fall down in exchange, I believe, unless Lelouch was able to evade that last tower shot, which he was. But now Snark's getting picked up, and I think Brewer should just benefit from another kill in this lane. It's 14-8 in 11 minutes. Very, very bloody game. Both teams averaging out to about 1 kill per minute. And Jonah was just not needed on the bot side. Objective control actually in favor of 1T so far this game, so looking a little better than it had. If Hero walks up aggressively, I think he is going to get punished by Jonah. Ultimate is available for Brewer. I don't think he's going to just choose to burn it immediately, but if they get any more poke onto Hero, I think he could be in kill range. Not the easiest target to take out with a Jhin ultimate, though, if he just gets a Z off. Especially if the E kind of goes perpendicular to the Jhin. But now a fight is breaking out as a 3v2 in favor of 1T, and I think they should be able to take him out, and Hero just immediately gets popped. 6 kill going over to the Jhin. And Nova really good dodging from Vigar, but that ultimate is still available for Sandy, and he proto belts in and is able to find the ultimate. Proto's in, flashes away, and gets the ultimate off, and is able to find another solo kill in this game. But I think this is going to be another big objective going over to 1T. They have a... I think they're still losing, but they have some more upsides than they did in the previous game. Both solo laners down a lot, it seems like. Only able to have a counter pick on one of them for the side of SR, but Noam just not having the matchup knowledge to be able to play this one out correctly. I think the Akshan support definitely paying off a little bit. It's very silly, at least. But I think also fairly effective. Oh, and ultimate is coming out from Nova. I don't think there's going to be enough damage to get the kill, and Sandy has his ultimate as well. And it's just going to get the kill there. Looks like probably the Archangel Staff coming out as the next item, and Snark is ulting Lelouch. Lelouch taking a creative angle to try and get some damage out, but actually just holds all of the abilities and gets taunted up and just killed immediately. But I think Snark is going to be able to find a double kill here. One more auto should do it, but taking tower shots instead, and that allows Gruer to just open fire with his ultimate. Kalista able to dash, so as long as she keeps autoing, it should be a little tough, but Gruer just able to find that connection on the third shot, still had another chance left. But now Hero just jumping into Jonah, make sure to buffer the ultimate so he can't be touched, and now he is a fed Jhin, looking to find some damage down onto Jonah, but I think he is just going to retreat. Kills traded in the bot lane, 2 for 2. I mean, SR is just slowly pulling away here because while the bot lane's staying quite even, mid lane is just slowly going out of control. Hero having another really good game as well. I think Jonah's really picked it up when it comes to objective control, but just not able to find the same impact in terms of kills that the Viego has. Lelouch trying to interfere with top lane, not able to get too much done. I don't know if Noam's even been able to steal an ult yet this game. But Sandy, Hex Flash, Proto belting forward, trying to find something onto Jonah. Definitely a creative Vigar build, but I feel like this is what Sandy tends to do, so it's not completely surprising. I think the Hex Flash is a little out of the ordinary, but the Proto belt we see a ton on champions you might not expect it. Lelouch now rotating towards bottom is going to find some control wards on our way down. Very easy for Akshan to clear him. Takes 2 autos, unless you cancel him, then it's taken 3, I think, both ones we've seen. Jonah now just gets spotted out here. Thought he was fine, but the vision plant is going to come through, and Jonah has to flash. Kage's going to be able to take top tower, and Noam has no mana, so Noam is going to be falling down here. Did not look like Noam was opting for anything to give him additional mana, so he's going to have to be wise about how he spends it, not end up in situations like this. And now SR is looking to maybe punish Jonah or punish this top tower. Rift Herald was picked up by Hero, and they're going to be able to use that to siege even farther. Gruer very fed at this point in the game, but Snark's looking to catch up a little bit, and I don't know how much Jin's going to be able to do to all these champions. He's not much of a hyper carry, but luckily no tanks, so he's probably not going to have too much problem killing individual targets. The problem is there's a few people that you want to make sure get taken down. Kage's actually pretty silently been having a really good game here. He's been able to pick up a couple kills for himself. Also pretty good rotations for these important fights. Sandy looking to roam here. Should be showing up bot lane any time now, but Dad trying to go for the engage just to stall him out. Jonah looking to find the kill onto Sandy, and Dad just has to flash out. Lelouch dashing through, actually just body blocked that Jin W, and since she hadn't taken any damage, she doesn't get rooted up by it. But now Nova and Noam both TPing in. Nova looking for a really good ultimate, but Jonah dropping the initial engage. Sandy dropping down super low, but it is taken down by the Jin, and now Malzahar ultimate is coming through onto Kage, but Hero, huge flank, is able to take out the Malzahar to start the fight. Dad now going into taunt Hero to counter this, and they are able to pick up the kill onto the Viego. But Lelouch trying to find a reset is able to revive the Viego, and now Noam dashing forward. It should be able to find this kill onto Kage. Kage, really good equalizer, is going to be able to take out Jonah, and now Snark is the last one alive for SR, except for Hero, who got to respawn. But Noam, I think, is going to get taken down with the Kalista, but Gruer is going to be able to fight it off, and that is 4 kills for 5. 1T being the benefactor there, but Hero got to respawn from the Akshan, and he's hunting for Gruer. Gruer is going to spot him out on that ward, but I think Hero is going to be looking for this, but no, the TP is going to be enough to dissuade him. Nova TPing to save Gruer's life there. Still, SR in a much better position here, and Hero actually just gets to start up the dragon, which is going to stop the dragon stacking, which was 1T's big advantage in this game, which I think it's just going to be squandered here. What was crucial for 1T there is that they were able to take out Sandy really fast. Nova and Jonah both had really good flank positions to try and find that. Noam also did a really good job of CCing the SR members throughout that fight. But getting 1 kill in your column is not, or I guess 1 kill over the other team is not always going to do it. Lelouch is spotted out here, gets taunted immediately. Gruer trying to rotate to help, but Kage just looking for a solo kill in the top lane. Does not quite find it, but has equalizer if he wants to finish it off. Hero just denying some of these jungle camps. Has a 30 CS lead over Jonah right now. But that kind of pales in comparison to the CS lead we see in mid lane. Lelouch just walking up and just continuing to spin. I think might get taken down, but actually, no, it's really hard for anyone to actually auto or and seal the deal. Lelouch just dropping the ultimate for some poke, and I think it's just going to base here. Very low HP. It looks like Jonah actually was able to secure that camp. It looked like Sandy might have had the steal. And despite Noam losing a lot in lane, he actually was able to keep up and farm pretty well. Now he's going to start falling behind now that the map's been torn open. The 7k lead from SR is looking very hard to deal with for 1T at this point in the game. Jonah looking for a play on a Snark, is going forward, just drops the ultimate immediately, but it's Kalista. She can just dash out of it immediately. Dad trying to join the fight, trying to keep Jonah alive. That is going to be 1 kill going over to Gruer, so it's a 1-for-1 so far. I think that is going to be the end of the fight. Sandy looking for a kind of sneaky kill onto Nova, but the Voidlings are just eating up the Vigar projectiles, but that does let Vigar stack a little bit, and Lelouch going for the ignite onto Gruer, but immediately dies for it. Hero getting taunted up, and I think that should be enough for Gruer to get the kill. The taunt, I mean, the ultimate was buffered through the root, but the root did stay in place, and that is going to be enough for Gruer to pick it up. Oh, the Proto Belt snags Nova. Nova flashing away there, but Sandy just presses it, and the bolt all the way on the right side is going to be the one to find the kill. Cheeky little play from Sandy, and he's just so fed this game. Jonah lurking in the shadows, maybe trying to find this play onto Sandy, but he actually didn't catch that Sandy had just based. Thought that Sandy was walking back down the lane. Gruer was able to spot it with the Farsight, but wasn't able to stop it with the W just out of range. I think just out of time as well. I don't think he got it off in time, even if it was in range. I think SR should just look to start taking down some objectives that 1T won't be able to contest. But they have been doing a good job of denying the dragon stacking. If they're able to get their second Chemtech, it will be quite strong. Chemtech very, very good on to Rumble and Viego. Not as good onto the other champions, but still good. I think Sandy's just going to be able to pick up another kill there. Has the ultimate available, but Gruer looking for the play onto Hero. He's going to get taken down, but yeah, Sandy was able to find it. Noam, really good connection onto Lelouch. Lelouch not able to get out with the E, but now Snark is getting collapsed on, was able to flash and avoid everything, but now Gruer dropping the ultimate. Kage looking for a flank, but Jonah is able to spot him out on it. I think they should be able to kill the Rumble. He has not gotten the equalizer down yet, but he does. It's not really going to get too much damage down. Gruer's ultimate not able to find any kills for them, but did force out Snark's flash. And now maybe 1T can just hit Nash. They were able to get up 2 kills in advantage, and jungle is dead for 1T. It's going to be really hard for Lelouch and Snark to contest this as they're both damaged. Sandy's just spot side of the map, but does have TP available. Looks like they're just trying to bait and turn. Lelouch half health. Could just instantly die when she goes there. Dad flashing forward is able to find the taunt, but Lelouch is spotted out, which means that Gruer should be able to find 1 kill, might be able to find a second, but Jonah just flashing forward to ensure that he gets that one. Sandy is almost able to take out Noam, but Noam's able to live. The cannon minion tried to change that, but he is just going to be able to get out in time. Is going to stop the Baron take, but they get 2 more kills as a cherry on top of that earlier play that they were able to find. 1T in the process of coming back here. They're able to win this dragon. It could put them back in soul point position. It would be a minor setback that they got set back 5 minutes, but I think they would be able to get on top of it. They're able to get this dragon here. The respawns are slightly in their favor, but they need to be very quick about it, which they were not in the previous game, and I think that's what really hurt them. But no, I'm just face checking Sandy. Is going to be able to dodge from most of these things, and actually, yeah, not taking too much damage. Flashes forward towards Sandy, but the Proto Belt is going to save him once again, and it's really hard for them to actually start hitting the dragon. Huge Vigar cage connects onto 3 to stall this out. Sandy once again dodging away from the W, not being able to get caught, and now he just has to use his flash to avoid it. He used the Proto Belt so good earlier, and now it's a true 5v5, and I think SR is much favored here. Could be in 1T's best interest to just retreat, and it looks like they're going to threaten to trade the Baron if this dragon is taken, but no, they're not full committing to it. They're staying in the area, and the dragon has been started already. They need to look for a steal very aggressively if they're going to do it. Jonah is in the area, but he has not been getting the smites this series. The equalizer is dropped. Lelouch caught out here, and I think they're going to be able to kill that with Gruer in the area, but they are able to find a kill on Dad to start the fight. Lelouch is dead. Both supports taken down. Hero just going in, and Vigar able to secure the dragon. Hero having to ult out, and they find a route down onto Kage, but once again, double stun coming out from the Vigar cage, and that should be enough, but Jonah going in, trying to find the fight. Nova able to pick up a kill here. Gruer trying to retreat, but it is 4 kills in exchange for 2. SR benefiting. And it's just so hard to play that fight correctly when you decide to take it. I think maybe 1T could have threatened the Nash. Gruer actually able to just pick up a kill on the backside of that. Sniped Hero with the W. I mean, it's such a hard fight to win. The Vigar is able to disrupt so much. The range of all of your champions on 1T are either melee or kind of mid-range. Malzahar and Jhin are very similar, so it's very easy to target with the cage from Sandy, and he was able to hit a 3-man cage and a 2-man cage, just playing it kind of perfectly. Yeah, I think 1T either just had to retreat or try and flip the Baron, but they took too long to decide, and the dragon had already gotten too low. Jonah had a chance to 50-50 it, but was not able to connect with the smite. But once again, though, it wasn't actually Hero who picked it up. Noam does steal away the Vigar ultimate, and they might be able to kill Sandy here. Sandy gets knocked up, and the ultimate from the Vigar, or I guess the Silas turning into Vigar, was enough to find the kill. So kind of the first mistake Sandy's made all game. But maybe that could get something for 1T, but they're just not in a great position, so it's going to be really hard for them to actually punish that. Gruer going forward here. He's just not able to find it on the Callista. Swifty Boots gave him the move speed advantage, but not enough of one. No Baron start coming out from 1T, though. I think they know they've been losing the 50-50 smites this series, so it would be a very risky play for them. Game has slowed down a little bit. I think it's a little hard for SR to force the Nash, but I think that would be their angle back in firm control of the game. They're obviously still winning. And obviously it's going to be really hard for 1T to force it. Lelouch able to get her back off successfully. No, I'm dropping the equalizer for some wave clear. He's actually been able to gain his CS lead back on top side. Huge CS leads in mid and jungle for SR, although Gruer's been able to maintain his. Dad doing a good job of dissuading them from walking through this mid bush. Snark and Gruer trading into each other a little bit, but Gruer just going to retreat. Hero could be caught out here, but he's just going to go back to his team. Yeah, the big advantages are in the solo lanes for SR. Actually, they're just engaging onto Dad here. He's just kind of caught out. The ultimate is coming through for Hero, but they're able to avoid it. Lots of damage coming down. Root has connected onto Snark, and Gruer able to find a kill to start the fight. Lelouch in a bad position, and no one wasn't even here, and it looks like they're just going to win this cleanly. Kage wasn't really in the fight either, but Sandy able to find a kill, and now just kind of needs to retreat, but they're all collapsing on top of him. Huge taunt comes out, and that is a triple kill going up to Gruer, and now they're choosing to start up the Baron. Although Hero is still alive and at a really good spot health-wise. They've spotted him out. Noam dashes into the wall, not able to find a punish, but Hero going over aggressively and just gets taunted up, and this might be a quadra for Gruer. A bit of a delayed one, but should still be it nonetheless. No, the enhanced blast cone able to stall him out a little bit, but Gruer just able to pick it up. That is a pseudo quadra for Gruer. But that does dissuade them from actually pulling the trigger on this Nash. I think they still could have gotten it, but they chose not to. They know Equalizer's up, so it is a little risky. I mean, my thought is you kill the jungler. I think you just go for it, but they're choosing to take top tower instead. They're still back about 3k gold. If Lelouch goes for one of them there, they're not going to be able to find it. And now they spot it. No, I'm able to get the stun up immediately. Lelouch is going to die for that. Kage going in, and Gruer is going to find another kill there. Snark is in the area, and Noam actually has the Kalista ultimate, but it's not going to help him since Jonah's not in the area. Noam continuing to hit, but I think Kalista is going to be enough to find it. But no! Noam hits the stun. So good, and Gruer is able to find another kill there. And 1T has the kill advantage now. They're only 2k down. The bot lane for SR just not able to find anything. Gruer has such a big lead here. He's up 6,000 gold. I mean, admittedly, Sandy's up 7, but Noam's basically closed the gap on Kage with that skirmishing at the end of the fight, and Nova's able to pick up a tower too. I think this dragon fight could actually be close. Sandy just forced a flash by Dad in the mid lane. There was no one even there. He just didn't know that. And now Jonah should just be able to start this up, but no, they're just burning Nash. And yeah, I mean, once he has no way of knowing this, they're just going to take the dragon. I think it's a decent trade for them. It does get them to soul point. This Farsight's now going to spot it, but I don't know what else they can do about it. Jin's going to open fire, and he's not going to be able to steal it. Get some damage down onto Lelouch, but that's about it. It's a trade of dragon for Nash, so the gold lead is going to expand a little bit in SR's favor, but I believe they took a lot of gold off of the Baron kill. And Gruer, I think 4-shot might kill Lelouch here if it crits. I just did half the tower's health. Had really strong siege. No, I'm dropping the Kalista ultimate. I think probably just because it was going to expire. I get some additional damage down onto the mid tower, and that's kind of it. But 1T's reeling their way back into this game, and it's not like the last game where SR just had a scaling win condition. I think Jin's potentially one of the hardest scaling champs in the game here. Veigar somewhat, but this build is definitely a more tanky-oriented build than pure damage. So I don't think he's able to one-shot the Jhin at this point. Jin's full build, though. He's not going to get any stronger. Noam could be caught out, but just Zonia's while he's stuck inside the Veigar cage, but he just takes so much damage. Jonah's trying to rejoin this fight. If Gruer's able to hit, this could be big. 1T's window is now. They kind of need to force here on the next wave of objectives. I think if they're able to get Soul and then use that to leverage a Baron, I think that could be their win con. But as I said before, Gruer is not getting any stronger. Kalista building defensive items as well. We're going to see the Jack show completed. And Jonah in a bit of a bad position here. And actually, SR just able to take more on the map than 1T is because of their Baron buff. Gruer has both sums. Noam looking for a big flank. It looks like Gruer expected the Silas ulti to tag someone for his passive, for his W. Doesn't quite work that way. Oh, and Sandy just Hex flashes in, and he gets suppressed by the Malzahar. They're looking to find a kill. He gets taunted, and they are able to take out Sandy in exchange for the Malzahar, but one of those is worth way more than the other. And I think 1T's going to be able to clean up this fight. Snark just getting chopped down by Gruer, and that auto is going to chunk him. And the W not able to find him, so I think he is going to be able to get out. And they found a 3-4-1, which is going to help him out a little bit, but I really don't know how much they're going to be able to push here. Dad giving some praise over to Nova. Really good ultimate usage there. Able to find it onto the right target. Doesn't matter how much you lose in lane if you're able to find the Vigar in the fights that really matter. I think they're looking to just get some damage down on mid. The respawns are coming through, although it's 22 seconds on 2 of the members that really matter. We're somehow just taking a tower shot there. Kind of unfortunate. Hero could have a really big flank here. If he gets the ultimate down on Gruer right away, I think he might win, but he decides against it. They are going to spot out Hero here. Gruer trying to take away this red buff. Hero coming through with the smite, but he just flashed into the wall, and I think that could be costly. He's still committing to the fight. He's going to get taunted up immediately, but huge double flank TP coming out from Sandy and Kage, and this play is huge from SR. They could be turning the fight. Dad's going to be the first one to fall down, but Kage getting taken out as well. Noam in a really bad place, and Lelouch looking for a kill is going to dash forward, find some damage onto Noam, but actually, ultimately, the kill is going to go over to Sandy. Lelouch still continuing to chase Hero, finding a reset. Now it's a 3-for-1 in exchange for SR, but they have a bigger advantage. Gruer able to pop Lelouch, though. The difference is that SR wasn't able to find a pick on the most important member from 1T, whereas when 1T was able to find their 3-for-1, they were. And now it's a 3-for-2. So 1T kind of liking this situation. I mean, not a ton, because you did lose 3 members, but you still have the Jarvan and the Jhin. Sandy's ultimate is back up, and now Jarvan just dropping the ultimate onto Kalista again. Again, she can just auto him and get out, and Jonah now has to flash away. And no! Gruer gets caught by the cage. Sandy able to take him out, and this could help their siege so much. They might be able to take it down. One misstep from Gruer was all it took for them to completely gain control of the map. And this might be the end for SR. Gruer playing near perfect, but steps into the Vigar cage, and it costs him his life. And now SR is looking to end the game. They're going to have to be careful, though. The respawns have come through for everybody. But Rumble and Akshan running up. They're not going to get there very soon. Snark trying to find the kill into Noam. He doesn't quite get it with the first rend and is not able to finish off the kill. And looks like Nova was able to find another ultimate onto onto Vigar and secure the kill down there. But they're able to take so many towers away from 1T. They're able to get 2 of the inhib towers, take down 1 inhib. Gives them a pretty big advantage. But the respawns are much in 1T's favor for Dragon. I think SR had a short window to end there, but considering they didn't, I don't think they actually have much of an advantage off that fight. They lose both of their carries. Well, okay, they're like a 5-carry team comp, so both of the people that were playing their carries last game. But really aggressive positioning for 1T. They're looking to force a fight. Nova is just getting gone on by Lelouch, but Gruer is here. I think Lelouch is just going to die. Kill credit is going over to Nova, but Gruer obviously did 90% of the damage, and the TPs are coming out. They might be looking to force an end instead. Hero's getting caught out here, and that's 2 new kills, and now the Malzahar are coming through, and Gruer should be able to just secure the root. Did not expect the Rumble to get out of it so quickly, and Gruer not able to finish this off. So now it's 2-for-0, and Jonah is just finishing up this dragon. There's no jungler to worry about, so he can't lose the smite battle, right? Maybe Vigar can outdamage it, but yeah, I think Vigar may be able to with a W. But, I mean, definitely not against Baron, which I think they're going to go to next. However, Hero's going to be up for that. I think they're just going to need to look for picks in the top jungle. I'm not sure if they're going to go for it. Jonah just taking a base. He might have completed an item. Yes, he does get the Kanik completed. And Gruer looking to kind of ward them off, but there's no one really close to him to help him out. He does not have his flash available, so he needs to be very careful. Snark and Sandy walking up forward, trying to punish with their empowered waves, and now Dad just gets caught and is going to be taken down. Oh, he's able to stall out a little bit, almost found a play, but the Malzahar ultimate is coming through onto Sandy. Sandy tries to protobelt out, has to use his flash to get away from this. Noam trying to find a kill onto Snark. Gruer trying to be the one to finish the kill off, but Snark lives for so long. The Jack Show has been completed as well as the Randuin, so he has basically no damage. Gruer is just able to kill Lelouch, who was looking for a kill onto him, but Gruer, I think, should have the damage to kill Hero, but does not get it with the force shot, so he's going to have to wait. I think a Q from Gruer could steal the deal. He's about to get his ultimate back up, which should finish this off, but they're all scattering, and it's going to be really hard for him to find an angle. Another 3-for-2 exchange in SR's benefit, but now Gruer has the ultimate, could look for Sandy, but the dead man's plate is going to make it really hard for him to actually hit him, so he chooses not to pull the trigger. This game has been wild. I don't think either team can actually functionally start the Nash, although looks like Snark's going to start hitting it, but Jonah is going to be in the area, and they're just trying to sneak it. I don't think they walked over vision, and the TP is coming through, but Jonah walking towards it, it doesn't look like they know. No Farsight's available for them to check either. But Hero, almost getting executed to the Nash, isn't going to find it. He's going to pop the cone. He knows it's low. Could this be Jonah's steal? And no, it is not. Gruer trying to find the play onto Sandy. Jonah trying to find the kill instead, actually. And Gruer able to find it with his ultimate. Finds a second kill with his ultimate. Not able to find the kill onto Snark. But Dad dashing forward, looking for the taunt, is not... Wow, how did that hit? Z-axis moment. And I think Jonah is going to be able to find the kill onto Snark. Maybe? And it does go over to Gruer instead. His 30th kill of the game. And now shutdowns are coming back onto 1T's back. They're still down in gold. But they have the Dragon Soul, which I think makes them a little stronger at this point in the game. They have a short window to end. Kage not getting rooted there. But they have no wave. So it's going to be really hard for them to actually force this down. They need to play with this top wave and keep it alive as much as possible. But it just got equalized. Gruer going to look for his 4-shot onto the tower. And the cannon's still alive for a little bit. I think they can tank this enough to take it, but the chunk down and damage from the minions being gone has come through, and Jonah just needs to back off. Nova and Noam looking to hit this mid tower, getting a lot of damage down, but Lelouch moving forward. It just gets Malzahar ulted. Nova waits until he's able to connect on it when he's out of range of tower. I think they're going to be able to find a mid-turret and maybe a mid-inhib to kind of even this game out, but now the respawns have come through for Vigar and Viego, and they need to be really careful with how they play this fight. Jarvan's nowhere near them, and Noam just gets stunned up immediately, and he's going to be taken down to start the fight. And now Hero is a Silas, someone who how he knows to play really well. Dad could be caught out here. Sandy able to take the spell shield off the Malzahar, but now Hero ulting down onto Nova. The Zonius is going to come through, and they're going to kill Hero for it. Nova burning down, but I don't think he's going to actually fall. That's a 1-for-1. Nova going to take a reset. Does not have the teleport to join this fight quickly, but he is going to be able to join eventually. Looks like, yeah, the item completion is not going to come through. This game is dead even. This is one of the best games we've had so far this season, and it's coming in a series that doesn't technically matter. But really good to see Gruer drop a 31 bomb. This is not something you see very often. The Elder Dragon is spawning in 2 minutes, and I think that could be game ending for whoever gets it. Inhib turret down for both teams, but not a lot of damage dealt to Nexus turrets for other teams. A lot of damage on one of them, but not enough to take it down. I'm very anxious to see how this fight plays out. I think either team could win. It's going to depend on who can get taken out between the Vigar and the Jhin. I think if either of those two champions dies, it's just cooked for that team. Jonah and Noam are bunched up together. Could find a really good engage if they're able to find an angle. Kind of depends on one of the other teams, or one of the teams to walk up too far. Noam doing a really good job of zoning him off there. Kalista isn't in the area. I think if SR is going to move in, they're going to do it soon. Jonah trying to find the angle onto Sandy, just collapses, and Sandy does not have the flash. And I think they're able to pick off the Vigar, and that should be enough to secure the game. Maybe they can just walk forward. I think they have to debate between doing that or the Elder. I think the only person who could turn this fight is Hero if he plays it well, but he has not been having a lot of luck recently in this game. I think 1T is going to break this open. They're moving forward. Dad just clearing this ward, and I think Gruer has the damage to do it. He has 32 kills so far. Can he take another one down? And the one time that it looked bad for them was the fight where he got picked off, and he has double sums. He has the Mercurial this time. taking down one tower, and Lelouch caught out. They might be able to take another one. No, I'm taking a lot of damage from tower, but I think he should be able to survive. And huge Malzahar ulti coming down onto the Callista. It stalls her out for so long, and Gruer just hitting the tower. He wants his win. 32 kills on Jhin. Wow. That was an insane game. I think a lot of 1T did not show up to that game in the same way they did in the one before, but one man did. And honestly, way better than he did in the previous game. And that was Gruer. He had 28,000 gold. He had more than double pretty much anyone else on his team. Jonah, I think, was able to break that. Dad actually had more gold than the top and mid lanes. Really, really rough solo lanes from 1T that time around, but Gruer has it. He told me he was going to win this series, and I mean, even if he doesn't, that is a statement to make. He has, had a bit of a rough season in terms of series wins, but he's been able to get it done in terms of his stat line, and this is another one of those cases. Apparently, they're already in draft for the next game, so I'm going to try to catch up. I don't know how they're able to sneak that by so fast. It looks like it's going to be a switch of sides, and Syndra is going to be the first pick coming through. I don't know who that's actually going to be picked for. Let me fix this as fast as possible. But yeah, we have ourselves a series. Obviously, career MVP for that game, because who the fuck else do you choose even? That was insane. We are into game. It looks like the Zinzao and the Fizz are both going to be picked for SR. I think those are power picks that we hadn't quite seen come through yet. And I'm really struggling to figure out what the hell that champion is. So now I actually get to know. It is the Hen. That makes sense. But Syndra is the Hen coming through. This could be the second Syndra bot we've seen. I would hope it doesn't get paired up with Emilio again, because I think that looked kind of horrible. But I think it's a pick that could work, definitely. Looks like that is a Malphite pick getting picked up. I think that could be top. It could definitely also be mid into the Fizz. I think that could be a decent angle for it, but it's really hard to stack armor into a Fizz. And Malphite definitely benefits more from that. Is going to be Sivir as a pickup. I think that's a really good pick into the Syndra and into the Malphite. Lots of good spell shield value there. Vayne is banned away from Gruer. I think that's a very solid counter pick into the Sivir. It's kind of hard to react to the Condemn. But all the other bans are kind of copy-paste, although the Anivia has been banned away. Which is kind of funny. The one game where they'd be able to first pick the Syndra, is the one game they didn't ban it away. Milio is banned away. 1T preventing themselves from making the same mistake that QC had made earlier in the season, but I think Syndra could just be good comfort for Nova. And I don't quite know what champion that is that got banned away. It's going to be the Twitch and the Lulu are rounding out the bans. Looks like Taric and Rel were both hovered for SR. Would love to see the Lelouch Taric, but looks like it might be the Rel. I think Taric might be better. Zyra appears to be the most recent hover, and I think that would be incredibly good value. And yeah, that is going to come through. It's really good into the Zehen, I feel like, in skirmishes, and has a little better access onto Syndra than some of the other picks. I feel like Rel has an especially bad time. That looks like a Swain pickup. Could be for Gruer, could be for Nova, could be a Malphite jungle and a Swain top. Really have no clue. Last pick is going to Kage. They want to make sure he has another good lane like he did in the previous game. But 1T looking to round out their comp here. We could see if there's an ADC, or it could just be another mid laner, or hey, maybe Swain's the mid laner. It's really hard to know what's happening at this point. It's going to be Alistar picked up, so I believe that's going to be Syndra bot, Swain mid, and Zehen and Malphite are both flexes here. But Swain bot could also be pretty good. I think it's kind of tough to have access onto Sivir with her ultimate, but Gruer can definitely play it. I think he's a bit of a better Syndra player, though. I think Syndra will pair up really well. Is that a Belveth? It's Dr. Mundo. That kind of makes sense. Cho'Gath is the actual lock-in, though, and I am interested to see how these lane assignments do come out. I think you have some options for 1T. SR, I think, is pretty shoehorned into what they need to do, though. The potentially blind Fizz. It's actually not guarantees, but And this side swap will be new. SR finally getting to pick. Dad saying that he hates red side, so he's just happy to be off of it. This could be a really good angle for 1T to get the dub. I think they have a very comfort draft coming out for them. I think both Noam and Jonah could be pretty comfortable on either the Zahen or the Malphite, and I think they get their pick based on the Xin Zhao or Cho, what they want. Noam is going to be the one playing Malphite, and presumably in the top lane again. So I will get our assets set up to reflect that. Looks like SR is back to picking more serious picks, although honestly, I don't think the Akshan was that big of a problem in the last game. Maybe you could argue that it was as the game went later, but Jonah Zahen is going to be incredibly exciting here. I don't know if it was actually specified who was playing the Syndra versus the Swain, but it does look like it's going to be Nova on the Swain mid and Syndra on the Syndra bot with the Alistar. Snarkify will have a fun time dealing with that, I'm pretty sure. I think Xin Zhao and Fizz are both really good counter picks into the Syndra. I think we will see how things go everywhere else on the map. Not very familiar with these matchups, although I think Sivir will have not too terrible of a time playing into the Syndra. That spell shield is going to be very helpful for any of the big stuns that they're looking for. But we do get to look now and actually see if any of these matchups have been played before. And yeah, Malphite has been played into Cho'Gath twice and has lost both times. I think Cho'Gath probably also has a decent time into Zahen. So pretty good counter pick coming out from Kage there. Zahen versus Xin Zhao we somehow haven't seen. I think the two champions are kind of the same champion lore-wise, if I'm correct. I don't pay a ton of attention to that as of late, but I believe that's my understanding. Swain versus Fizz we haven't seen before. I don't quite know how that matchup plays out, although I would believe it depends on how much defensive stats Swain can build. Looks like it's actually one of Fizz's better matchups on the current patch. I don't know if that's true on other patches as well. Trying to double check. Yes, looks like it's pretty Fizz favored, but if it is comfort for Nova, I respect the pick either way. Syndra into Sivir we obviously haven't seen, and I think Zyra does a pretty good job into Alistar, but I think Dad is a good enough player that he'll be able to find some advantages in that matchup, so I'm excited to see how it plays out. I do just have to sit through spectator delay, but I am quite pleased with how this series has gone so far. Been a bit of a banger. And I did just get confirmation that Metabusters versus PT will be taking place on Thursday at 8:30. I think it is possible we will see both of the first round matchups being played on the same day, but we will have to see. But anyway, set your calendars. It's going to be a pretty important game, and it'll be the first time getting to see PT in the playoffs. And Metabusters has a very storied history of doing pretty goddamn well in the playoffs, so that'll be a fun watch, I'm sure. Spectate delay is still ticking down, about 40 seconds left. We should be actually loading into game now. So everybody buckle in for the final game of the season for 1T.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Minions have spawned.
And Jonah Jonah almost able to play into hero if Nova's claw had connected, but sadly did not. Could have actually seen some pre-lane action for once this season. No dice though. Nova and Sandy looking to trade pretty aggressively in this early game. I think if Swain can abuse his range advantage, that could be a little bit of a help. Nova already getting some stacks down with some call connections coming through. But Sandy trading together really aggressively. Has the electrocute proc coming through, and he does have the ignite, so he will be favored if a full-on fight does break out. Just based off of the summoner spell advantage. Kage definitely having the mana advantage in top lane, and I think he should be fairly able to win out this lane, but I think if Noam is able to play this right, he should have a much greater impact in team fights. Gruer able to stay decently even in CS with Snark. I think had to go the Ghost to match the Sivir ultimate later in the game. Can't afford to just get run down there, especially with Sivir able to spell shield the Scatter the Weak. It's a tough position to potentially be in. The Syndra was a first pick, and I think SR had a pretty good read on the fact that it was going to be Gruer playing it, so decent counter pick coming out from him. And yeah, no, I'm just getting chunked in this lane. It's really tough for him to play this out. Huge knockup coming out from Dad. I don't really know how much they can punish it. Lelouch is going to probably be the target of most of these scatters. Does not have a spell shield of her own to help her out. Noam getting done what he can with the Comet. And the Q-Poke. It's a fairly standard build, and yeah, that we just see what happens if Snark. We just saw what happens if Snark gets hit by the Scatter. I cannot talk. It's been a long series. Hero looking for a play onto mid with Nova. Nova does have flash, is going to use it, and Sandy actually might get taken out here. Kill credit going over to Jonah, and Jonah's able to pull Hero back into tower. I don't know if it's going to be enough to win out the fight, but Kage already on the roam. Rotations on the top side of SR have been so good, but Gruer getting a ton of damage onto Lelouch, and that ability has been dodged out. Gruer not able to find the kill, but double sums forced out of Lelouch. I mean, the play mid kind of worked out for 1T. They're down a decent amount of gold now. Fizz up in farm, Sivir up in farm, and Xin Zhao really, really up in farm. So 1T kind of getting pulled away from, as they have in the last couple games of this series. But it's by no means over. But the early game domination from SR kind of continues. Dad looking to find a play onto Lelouch, and Gruer's going to need to flash forward to be able to find the angle here. And yeah, that's just a kill for Gruer. Dad uses his E-stun to get the shield off of Snark, but both those bushes are warded. Snark just going to be able to walk up. Does not find the autos, though, that he needs. Bot lane, real advantages are being made Alistar's a really good counter pick into Sivir, as it's impossible for her to spell shield the Q. He can just drop the W and get the spell shield off. And if she doesn't spell shield the W, then she just gets knocked away. So it's a really kind of tough timing to get there. Oh, yeah, I mean, she doesn't even get knocked away. She like gets, he just completes the combo. Sorry, long day. Kage moving forward onto Noam, not able to threaten a kill. I wonder if he's going to choose to eat a minion or just try to save the ultimate. And Sandy able to find some good outplays onto Swain here. Can just always use his E to counter Swain's E. But he does lose his ability to gap close with it if that comes out. Sandy dashing in once again, does have his ultimate available, and Nova has no mana, so I believe won't be able to cast the Swain ultimate in exchange, and that is just going to be an early dragon picked up for Xin Zhao. We've seen both teams that win end up with a soul, so I think these early dragons are really putting SR in the right direction if they're able to continue stacking them. So Hen is not going to come online as early as Xin Zhao is going to. So I think the first couple dragons are going to be a lot easier to contest, as well as the grubs for the side of SR as opposed to 1T. Yeah, I think Jonah's just caught out here. I was like waiting to say anything because no one had ultimate, but no, he's just gets caught out. Unlucky rotation there, and the kills are going to even out at 2 apiece for the two teams. But Dad going in is just going to get immediately rooted by Lelouch, and Snark pushing forward did pop the ultimate to try and find this kill onto Dad. The spell shield is down, and I think Brewer is going to have scatter available to him, but they just play safe to avoid really dying too much here. Sandy actually continues to have a really big farm advantage in the mid lane. It's very comfortable on Fizz. We haven't actually got to see it terribly often over the course of the season, but definitely a high impact champion if he's able to get his hands on it. Noam is just going to have to struggle to survive the laning phase here, but once it opens up, I think he should have decently high impact on probably just the Zyra, actually. Fizz and Sivir both able to just dodge out onto the ultimate. Hero could be in trouble too, but his E, I think, gives him decent utility to be able to avoid it. And he can just ult the Malphite off of him at the end of it. Looks like Noah might be going for a more traditional tank build on the Malphite instead of going for the AP that we've seen from some people, just based off of that first purchase that we see come out here. But nothing's guaranteed. We've seen a lot of like hybrid Malphite builds as well, so we could see one of those come out. Very sizable gold lead for SR so far. I think it's the CS leads basically across the board on the top side of the map. Bot lane being the one advantage for 1T across the board. Dad, big engage onto Snark, but he's not really able to get much off the back of it. Just reminding the Sivir that he's able to get stuff done. Kage has gotten a couple stacks off of minions, not too afraid to use them, knows it's going to be pretty hard for him to kill the Malphite. We might see another one get used here. My personal philosophy on Cho'Gath is if you don't feel like you're going to get the kill, you might as well get your stacks on the minions as fast as possible so you can focus on getting them on other shit, but who knows. And Jonah just kind of getting pinched here. Has the flash, is going to flash over, has the ultimate available, is going to use it to get some damage down onto Snark, but he's just going to get taken out by the ultimate from Fizz. And here just gets knocked away by Dad, but I think that is going to cost Dad his life. Brewer looking for a good scatter, is not able to connect onto anybody. TP flank coming down from Swain, but I think Swain's just instantly going to get killed. Has to flash away to try and stall out, but he is just going to fall pretty much immediately. Gets a decent amount of damage down, almost finds the damage onto Snark, but that is just giving another kill into SR's pockets. So they're just getting farther and farther ahead in this game. They're now up 2,500 gold. And I am questioning if Brewer is even ahead anymore, which he is not. So many plates taken for Snark. Brewer does have flash available, and it's just going to flash forward, and I think that is going to be the kill into Snark with his ultimate, but no, the barrier is enough to keep him alive. And the barrier for flash and ultimate trade is not what you want to see, and I think that may have been crippling for 1T. It's going to be really hard for Brewer to find additional leads in bot without some help from the team. Noam and Jonah both could potentially have some impact on the map, but I think Noam just needs to stay top and stop Cho'Gath from getting too much done. Cho'Gath has gotten another stack on minions and has already gotten his Roa, so it's going to complete around 20 to 21 minutes here. That is the second Drake going over. I feel like those first two are kind of guaranteed just with the jungle matchup. I think 1T can maybe look to start contesting later, but they're already down over 3,000 gold, so it's going to be tough for them to force on this. And now Nova just getting caught out mid. That might be another kill over to Hero, and if not, it's going to be a kill over to Sandy, and that is going to be the third kill for the Fizz. But Sandy played a huge part in initiating that, and then there's where you kind of feel the pain on Cho'Gath, because he does not have the ultimate available, but no one probably would have ulted out if he thought that Kage did have ultimate, so he probably knows that he does not. Dad actually almost able to find an angle onto Snark into tower, and now Zyra ultimate is used. Dad farther stunning up Snark. Gruer does have his ultimate available, so if Snark over pushes, he might just die. No barrier available, and Gruer just missing with the W, not able to find a kill. And checking some stats on request, Gruer actually did set the record for team format kills in that game, in a single game. Not the overall kill record. Actually, I don't know. There was a 34 bomb dropped on Kiana, and I'm not convinced it wasn't in a team format game, but I believe it was not. Let me fact check that before I eat my words, but... Kage looking to just run down Noam now. Still does not have his ultimate available to him, but Noam has his ult, so I don't think he was ever in too much danger of dying, but definitely getting forced off the wave really hard, which is not an optimal situation. Nova looking to maybe clocks on Sandy, but I think Sandy definitely wins these. Has yet to use the ultimate, dashing away from the Swain to let his ult time out, and maybe knowing that Swain's used his ultimate already, he could find the angle there. Yes, actually the 34 kill game was also a sign up, so Gruer does hold the record for most kills in a team format game. It's only the 6th time that someone's dropped a 30 bomb in scrims. Yeah, actually the only 30 bomb in a team format game too, which is kind of fun. It looks like, actually, no, I'm kind of hitting a triple ult there, and Jonah actually finding a steal for the first time this game, and they might be able to turn this fight around. Hero is getting caught out there, and Jonah moving forward has the passive up, but I think he's just going to get kited by Snark and Lelouch here. But Gruer looking over the wall, huge amount of damage, but Kage able to find a shutdown onto Noam, and now Sandy has entered the fight, has the ultimate available still, hasn't used it. He's going to look for a flank, try to chase Gruer and Dad down behind the tower. Kage is 4 still alive for them, but Gruer actually able to find a kill onto Snark, and Dad finding Sandy over the wall, looking for the engage, is not able to find a stun yet. Nova able to find a pull down into Lelouch, and I think Kage has to flash out here, and they're turning it into a 3 for 2, so still not solidly winning that, but they were able to steal away the Rift Herald and pick it up. So they are clawing their way back in this game, still down 3k and 2 dragons though. The previous record for team format kills was done by Suki in Season 2 on Jiffy Diffy, dropping a 26-1-5 game on LeBlanc. For those who care. Although I will stop beating a dead horse at this point. Right, Hero looking for the engage, drops the ultimate immediately, but Jonah trading engages with him. Kage able to find a kill onto the Alistar to start the fight. Nova could be in big trouble here, but Jonah trying to stack up for his revive is actually able to find it miraculously, but I think this fight is just over. Gruer and Jonah are the only ones left. Gruer trying to find a good scatter. 3-man pull by Jonah actually might be enough to turn the fight. They're able to find a kill onto the Cho'Gath. And now no jungler, they're not really able to secure this dragon. Sandy looking for something but does not have his ultimate available, and it's another kind of trade there. Alistar is alive already, and they're able to get a huge chunk onto the tower, making use of that Rift Herald that they got earlier, but not able to take a tower with it. And Sandy might be able to find a play onto Jonah here. Jonah walking division. Gruer's got to look to cancel Snark's base. Snark has to burn the spell shield. But now Jonah's just starting up the dragon, and it looks like Sandy's just gone back to base. Noam gets hit by the Fizz ultimate, but it's the last target you want to hit. Sandy looking for a play onto Gruer and Nova, but Gruer able to flash away from it. That's huge damage coming down onto Snarkify, and they all need to back off here. Noam about to get his ultimate back up, but it's so hard to chase into a Zyra. If you are SR, you are just happy you got the flash out of Gruer, and you take that win and walk home. Dad's going to try to keep this tower alive, but I think Kage's just going to have it. Dad maybe trying to find a stun on the back of it. It is a 3v1 into Kage. Jonah's going to be getting a lot of damage down onto him. I think they might be able to just funnel even more gold into this the hen. And they are going to just give the kill over to him. And they're clawing their way back into this game. It's below 3.5k now. I think I say this all the time, but I think there actually was some validity to my joking fearless call after the first game. Nova trying to win this fight onto Sandy. Sandy doesn't have Ignite, which I think is a big deal. Nova doesn't have Flash to follow it, though, so he can't force the kill. But Nova just pushed up way too far, and I think Hero is going to join the fight and try to take him down, and he is going to find it. Game is slowed down quite a bit. Can't imagine we'll see another fight break out until 23 minutes when the next dragon is up. Hey, I would not be complaining if we saw another one before that. Dad just gonna send hero the other way. Does not really want to engage with that. Jonah trying to make sure his red buff is his. And Kage has reached 9 stacks at this point. I believe he's gotten, I think, 1 for each of his kills. Sivir ultimate is used here. Jonah trying to run away from it. Hits the pull, except Snark is able to spell shield it. Syndra has not joined the fight yet, but Snark's spell shield being down could be a big deal here. No, I'm looking for a flank angle. Does not pull the trigger onto Snark. I believe he was on vision, but I think maybe slightly out of range. No, I'm trying to punish Sandy. Clears the wave first, but Sandy's just going to E away from the Malphite Q. Jonah looking over the wall, has the flash. Dad just going in, is able to find the engage onto Snark, and I think this stun is going to connect. I think Brewer should be looking for the kill there and is able to find the shutdown onto Sivir, but Sandy looking for a wraparound. Dad is in the area. He's going to try to protect the rest of his team. Don't think he can look aggressively onto the Fizz, but if Fizz does engage, the counter engage is going to be there. SR has gotten a lot of value this game out of punishing Nova on the side lane, but it looks like Nova actually might be able to walk up uncontested this time and be able to get some stuff done. Sandy dashing is actually going to miss the ultimate, which I think is a very big deal. It should give them some safety, and I think that is going to be down for the next dragon, although not for terribly long. I think they're able to stall out for another 30 seconds after it, it'll be back up, but that is a pretty big ask. It's not super easy to stall out for that long. That is a teleport coming in from Gnome. He just goes into a bunch of plants, but that shield is massive. With that quest completed, gives you some safety. Where you go in? Hero just getting knocked out here, and the fight is going to start off. Noam able to find the engage onto Lelouch, as I said, is his easiest target. Sandy trying to find the kill onto Jonah before he gets his passive stacked up. As Syndra falling down so low, Brewer is just getting collapsed on by Kage. He was able to find 1, but he's not going to find any more than that. And I think this fight is just pretty doomed for 1T with him being taken out. Jonah trying to find something on Lelouch. If he gets the pull, maybe he could find it. He has the revive available to him, but it's going to be so hard for him to just gun down Kage. The Resurrect is coming through. Jonah is not going to have his ultimate after the fact. So maybe they can turn and try to find something on Sandy, but it's going to look really hard for them. I think they're just going to have to take the 2 for 3 and walk out. And SR looking so strong up this fight. And there is that Fizz ultimate coming back up, and it's going to find the kill onto Zahan, and Sandy is going crazy on the back end of this fight. I believe Noam is going to fall down. Should be a kill picking up, but actually maybe Kage is going to get 3 in this fight. Noam flashing forward, almost found the kill onto Lelouch, but yes, it is going to be Sandy who picks up the second kill in that fight, and that is going to be a fully stacked Dark Seal, and I believe that is going to be the dragon going over to SR, getting them their 3rd and putting them on soul point at 24.5 minutes. Although the respawns have come through, Jonah is not going to be there, but maybe they can fish for a kill on the members trying to finish off the dragon. Not entirely sure. Yeah, Dad and Brewer and actually Nova are all going to be here, but just not in time, and I think they're going to let Kage stack it. He is probably at 10 at this point. No, he's actually at 11. Right, because 9 plus 2. Yeah, that's my bad. That was just dumb math. And I think maybe they should be able to just walk towards Nash and look to take it down. Kage having a really good game this time around. Was able to get on top of Brewer and just shut him down during that fight. Brewer now does have his flash available. I think that will change things, but sometimes it's just that wrong fight where you don't have flash and it really costs you. And Nova looking for a play on a Kage. I think he actually might be able to win this. Pulls Kage back into the ultimate. He does not have a Rylai's though, so it's going to be a little hard, but he forces Kage to walk back into his ultimate, so he should be keeping it up. And he gets another pull off. Hey, maybe he's going to win this. Although if Kage can get him low enough, Kage does have the ultimate available. That knockup is going to be huge. The E's are going to do it, and he's just going to eat the Swain alive, ult and all. Snark trying to kite this out, and I think he's going to be able to do it. Dad flying down super low. Jonah able to find the pull, but the Xin is there, and they cannot continue fighting this. Dad's health bar is way too low. Brewer could find a scatter onto Snark here and stop this, but I think they're just going to be able to walk away. This is such a dominating position for Snarkify here. They're up about 6k, and Noam had to ult away, and I don't even think it's going to save him. But he might be able to find a turn kill onto Lelouch, and yeah, it is going over to Jonah. Jonah's passive is stacked, and maybe Brewer can look to zone out with some damage here, but Jonah's just going to dash away, and I don't think he's going to be able to find the way out. Sandy is going to go over, has the flash available to him, but really good scatter is going to keep Brewer alive. I don't think it's going to be enough to really restore this game back to being playable for 1T. Brewer, again, having a great game. Jonah really turning it up this time, but this is solo lane struggling again for 1T. And this is just an uncontestable Baron. Cho'Gath isn't even there, so he's not going to get a stack. But Hero probably just going to drop the smite on this thing and make sure they have it. I think that was synced up with Lelouch respawn, so I think all 5 members should have it. Brewer was able to take down the mid tower, but now he's just going to have to run. Snark does not have ultimate. If he did, they might have been able to just catch up with him too, which would have been disastrous for 1T. But SR in a commanding position here, and I think they should be able to close this game out and end their regular season on a very powerful win. And that would put both the first and second place teams in a position where they both have the 7-1 record entering into playoffs, which means I don't think there's a true favorite. PT was able to get the win, but PT also dropped a series to Metabusters, who is going to be their first round opponent. Catch that live at 8:30 on Thursday, at least hopefully. If we have to stream both games, it's not a guarantee that both will be live, but I hope we can have that happen. Bit of fighting going on here, but I don't think either team really wants to commit to it. SR is never going to lose a full numbered fight here, so I think they're just going to hold off until that they can make sure that Fizz is going to be around. Sandy having a hell of a game this time around. Kind of the same as he did in the previous game. I think he was a little upset that he didn't just completely dominate in the first game. Was Xerath trade kills in return? Definitely dug into him a little bit. Kage, though, I don't even know what they do about this guy. They do not have consistent DPS to deal with him at all. Jonah looking to go in here, and Dad just caught out in the middle of everyone, but he's able to drop the ultimate and live for quite some time, although Brewer is going to be in big trouble. Dad tanking the Fizz ultimate for him, and Dad just get down Mr. President, tries to save his team. Huge ultimate coming through from Jonah, and he's going to be able to take down Snark, but now Kage flashing behind Brewer and is just going to eat him, and I think that might just do it for SR. I don't know if they can end here, but they're going to take a huge amount of damage to 1T's base and see what they can do here. Actually, it looks like the respawn from Nova might just stop that entirely. And now they're actually chasing Kage away. I think Fizz has kind of used the abilities that he could use to pressure this, and is now just going to go back to top tower and try to take that side lane turret. So I do stand corrected by the events of the game. But yeah, he is just going to take that top tower, still get a decent amount of value off of that fight. I think the fact that they're able to take down Xin Zhao and Sivir there made it hard to really extend that lead. Definitely have a bit of a see grew or die, think bad things are going to happen mentality towards this game, but you really cannot blame me. That's been how it's playing out for sure. And Jonah's going to try to be the one to contest here. I think SR is just going to pray that they can get this soul easily without too many crazy things going on. I think they've been the better smiters for most of this, and Nova's not going to live very long. They've really been able to keep him behind in this game and burst him out. Sandy's almost found the Flame Horizon on him. Huge engage from Dad, though. He's able to knock up 3. You almost thought that was the Malphite ult. Jonah just going to get bursted down before he has his revive available. Brewer trying to keep Hero off of himself, but I think Noam is going to fall down. He almost finds a kill onto Lelouch with his ultimate and Q, but it's not going to be enough, and he's just taken down. That is going to be the Infernal Soul And I think it's just cooked. It's going to be really hard for Guru to survive here. Huge flank coming out from Sandy. And I think Sandy is going to look to get some more stacks on the Medjais there. Picks up the ace. And he actually is going to die. Guru finding the trade kill with his ultimate. And now he actually lost 6 stacks on the Medjais. Not worth it. Guru typing, got him in all chat. That might end the game, though. I think Swain and Alistar are not the two you picked to stay alive. But Jonah should respawn in time. I think they're going to get at least double inhib, though. And it's going to be very hard for them to play against. Dad, looking for Snark here, is able to find the stun up, but Jonah basically just dead already. He has his revive available, but not for very long. He has the GA as well, so I think that is going to be the revive that comes second as his passive is up. And Hero might fall on the back of this, but he's just going to kill Jonah. I guess that was the GA that came through, not his passive. I'm not quite sure how that works. Snark fell down, and Kage just going to get another chomp. 10-2 this game. 10-8. He's actually found Gruer in like every fight this time. It's not going to be him who finds him this time, though, with the ultimate down. Noam, huge engage, able to knock up 3. He's going in. This might be enough for Gruer to find a kill or 2 here, but it's so hard. Cinder just does not have the speed on her spells that she needs to find a bunch of kills here, and Lelouch going to survive that. Snark pushing down. He's able to find the tower, and all they need to do is just walk up and auto here. Lelouch down very low. Maybe Gruer can find something. Dad's going to try to find an engage to help Gruer out, and Snark falling down low, but Sandy trying to find the kill here. Neither of them hitting Nexus. They just want to get revenge on Gruer, and I think Alistar almost just wins the 1v1 versus the Sivir, but Gruer walking up too far is going to be able to find one more kill onto Lelouch, and Sandy trying to find the kill onto Gruer into base, but the Zoni is actually going to keep him alive. Now Alistar finding the kill onto Fizz, but they are just going to end the game. 12k gold lead at that point. Gruer tried his best, and looked great doing it in the second game, but the game is going to go over to SR, and I think I have to give it to Kage there. Really creative angles to find Gruer in each of the team fights that I think were a really, really big deal. And I don't know, just good placement overall. Was able to win out on the lane with the Cho'Gath pick. Really good counter pick when he wasn't necessarily sure who he was playing into. Yeah, I think if Sandy didn't die both those times at the end, I would definitely have to give it to him. But I don't know, not able to 1v1 the Syndra. SMH. But yeah, very, very well played by SR. Ending up 7-1 to end the season. So they are tied in record with PT, but due to their head-to-head loss, PT is actually the first place team, which has been confirmed for some time now. But congratulations to SR for ending with that 7-1 record, only losing that one game versus PT. But absolute banger series. I will be pulling Kage in since he's still in call. Hello, Kage.
Hello.
Congratulations on that MVP you got for the second game.
I know, I was super excited.
Yeah, that was a banger. I like the flanks that you found on Gruer in both of those like 2 really big team fights. Those just solidified the game. I think if they were able to get anything done, it was going to be through him. But I mean, they just really had no way of damaging you, and all you need to do is get ahead, and you did an absolutely banger job of that. And congratulations on the 7-1. I mean, you're used to ending up with a really good record at the end of regular season. Is this playoffs feeling any different for you than last season's, or are you just as confident as you were last time around?
I definitely think a lot of the teams, and obviously even the new teams, have all just kind of leveled up. I feel like everything is a lot different from last year. With all the different rosters that are out there, I think every team just got better significantly. It's going to be an interesting playoffs for sure. I really do think that this will definitely be a play. It'll be a playoffs where like whoever wins it, it's definitely deserved that they win.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of hate to ask this question, but I also have to because it's fun. But which regular season did you enjoy more, this one or the last one, and why?
It is tough. Because I know both seasons we were kind of going for that. We at one point we were going. Well, we didn't have the chance with the undefeated last season because we lost the very first match.
Right.
But the this season, I mean, it's just been different. I guess different is like the answer. Um, that they both were great, but like this one's been different just because obviously different lane, different
Yeah.
feeling. Um, I'm definitely like this is definitely a lane where I'm outside my comfort zone. Uh, I'm at home in the AD role, but obviously Snark's got that rounded up.
Yeah, you could say that.
So it's like so I just needed a spot to play, and I was like I'll play top. I'll learn top lane, and um, obviously I usually get you know mega gapped in CS against my opponents, but I still find a way to make it work.
Yeah, I mean it's been fun. Are the team environments super different? I know you have some people in the same. You get to keep Hero around. You get to keep Lelouch around. But Snark and Sandy, you obviously didn't get to play with last time. Are they? I kind of
I
am just trying to bait you to say that they're better teammates than Rat and Jakar were, but I'm just playing.
No, I think honestly all the teammates I've had have been great. I have played in another league with Snark as on the team, so that's why I'm used to playing with Snark. Sandy is definitely someone like new that I met this season who's been great to play with. Um, Everyone's been super supportive of my top lane, and it's even when I get frustrated at myself for feeling like I'm not like contributing. Um, they always are like, you're doing great. You're still holding it down. Um, and I feel like a lot of times, sometimes all I have to do is just hold it down, and my team will kind of do the rest for me.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think you have a super strong team behind you. I am really excited to get to play you in the first round of playoffs. I'm pumped for that series. I think we're still pending on scheduling. We'll know by tomorrow. But everyone look forward to that one. But the first match that we will get to see, or at least that we know the date of, is going to be Project Tuesdays versus Metabusters on Thursday. I'll pull you for your prediction on that, and then we can end stream. But who do you think is going to win that one? Metabusters got him last time, but PT ended up in first.
PT is it looks like honestly they've been looking like a whole nother monster this season. Um, but when you have that little advantage of having won the season matchup, I think sometimes that can play a small piece into like you kind of can get in your head a little bit sometimes. Uh, so I think I'm gonna say 2-1 Tuesdays.
All right, sounds good. Should be a good matchup. And again, good luck to you in playoffs. Excited for our match, but I will end stream there. Thanks to everyone who tuned in, and make sure to tune in tomorrow as well for Metabusters versus New York Nutbusters. That series should be an absolute banger. We get to see a Buster battle, and no big leaks, but I've heard that they're going to try and draft some fun stuff for us on stream to close out the season. So make sure I'll keep an eye out for that. But yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. And congratulations again to SR for going 7-1. Really good way to end out the season. See
Yep,
y'all.
GG is one thief, and SR and Rift Sharks will see you in the playoffs.
Yep. All right. See ya.